What's up, guys? Welcome to lawsplaining the interwebs. I know you can see me at first before the intro. I told you I'm so bad at doing this. But now we have gotten the intro. Now we're fixed. Everything should be good. There's no sound on the intro? Or just no sound at the beginning? Probably just the beginning. There should have been sound on the intro. Okay, so today we're going to go through, if we can take it, the 80, 78, whatever it is, pages of evidence produced alongside the whatchamacallit. Oh yeah, the motion to dismiss. The motion to dismiss came with roughly came with like 80 pages of extra stuff. So we're going to go through that and we're going to see what it looks like. We're going to talk about it as evidence. We're going to relax and have a good time. Is this mic like way? Yeah. Little closer. So, it's not, a lot of this, it is 80 pages or whatever, but let me clarify a couple things. Oh, I guess it's only 73 pages because I didn't factor in Waid's affidavit where he lies. That thing. It's 73 pages, but look at the first page. The first page is this Exhibit 1. The second page, it's a big bunch of tweets. It won't take that long to actually go through. We're gonna probably cram through at least 10 pages in the first 2 hours or so. But yeah, it's not actually that much. Did that pop up on screen? That's not supposed to happen, so I hope not. Yeah, okay. A couple things. Oh no, we're gonna have to fix that real quick. How do I fix that? That's gonna get annoying. I don't think I can actually fix it right now. Well, we'll have to fix it at some point. Hopefully that doesn't get irritating. I'll fix that the next stream. But we're going to talk about this stuff. I don't anticipate it taking all that long. We're going to talk about Twitter. We're going to do the Twitter Law Clinic featuring my favorite lawyer, which is Mark Zaid. We will be talking about his latest tweets. It's almost like something happened yesterday. It's like something happened just yesterday. I don't know what it could have been, like late at night, where Zaid woke up this morning and started panicking or something. He got really, really terrified. I actually can fix it, but I'm not gonna. He got like really, really terrified about this whole thing. Whatever mystery thing happened. I don't know what it was. But so we're going to talk about Zaid's Twitter reactions today. We might talk a little bit about Mark Waid on the Nerdist. I don't know. What I wanted to do is provide a place for people to come and enjoy something that had nothing to do with the election. And in the full fashion and spirit of that, I'm going to talk about the election for just like a couple seconds. And I really mean that while I get some liquor. Because you guys may or may not know this about me. I hate Election Day. Not a big fan. Everybody kind of goes super crazy about it. And I'm like, I hate everybody. I hate all these people. But there are a couple things I want to talk about. So, some things I hate about this Streamlabs thing. Mithran Emrys says, Rackets, you is a terrible lawyer because a butthurt DC idiot done says so. Yeah, kind of looks like that. And then there was a pre-stream donation from Teapot who said, we're all familiar with ignorance of the law is no excuse, but from your explanation, it seems proving intent seems crucial. Is ignorance about the contract being in Texas really a valid excuse since the tort occurred there regardless? I don't get it. What they're going for is the idea that someone, could accidentally commit a tortious act in Texas or in any state. What the purpose of this is to eliminate favorable forum shopping from a plaintiff, where a plaintiff says, this guy in Florida said something about me. I live in Washington. He said something about me in Florida that made me mad or whatever. So I want to haul him all the way across the country. And bear in mind that all of this stuff was developed over the 19th century, where you had to travel by horse cart to be hailed into a different state. So there wasn't a hop on a plane and be somewhere else in 2 hours. That wasn't a thing. It was days and weeks sometimes of travel, depending on, if you had to get into a different forum. Largely, the forum protections, the jurisdictional protections that exist probably need to be looked at. They're very old. This idea of due process is not, it's not based in our current reality where we have the ability to teleconference or even just transit very quickly from place to place. So with that was a chat that came in through Streamlabs. And if you look at the top of the screen up here, I don't even know which way it is. 1 second. Top of the stream. Oh gosh, this is so much different than what I'm used to. Oh, it's towards the liquor. That way. Up at the top of the stream, you'll see Justice Chat. That is the ability to talk to me without getting any credit to YouTube, because YouTube is stupid. And they don't deserve the money anymore. You can still do super chats, of course, but I'm going to encourage people who are out there to move away from super chats, if you would, and move towards Streamlabs, just because I don't think YouTube deserves any more money. Okay, so I hope I addressed, Teapot, your question, which really, this is based on very old law, or not. It's not really that old in the scheme of common law, but as far as America goes and as far as how we think about the modern era, this stuff is based on the idea that it was really, really burdensome for people to up and travel across the country, and there wasn't a phone video conference that was instantaneous that we can do like today. But the jurisdiction rules are still there, and they're still based on those old ideas and being refined by the courts. So we'll see how that develops. Now, the question is, did Waid understand, or did he know, or did he intend to interfere with Texas? And I think the argument at this point is clearly yes, he did. And we have plenty of statements that were tweeted out. I tweeted out 2 statements, just 2. That was about 6 minutes of looking on Google to find those 2 statements. And both of them indicate that a very short time after he called Antarctic Press, that he knew exactly where Antarctic Press was and claims to have known the publishers. So his ignorance, I'm such an idiot, I don't know what I was doing excuse isn't very good. All right. Let me take a sip for that. Brief election coverage. And I mean this very brief. Ted Cruz won. That means Beto got BTFO, which is funny to me. The whole, you can't listen to the polls anymore. You just can't do that, so don't bother. The real shame of today is that Keith Ellison was elected Attorney General of Minnesota. Keith Ellison is horrifying in many ways, shouldn't be Attorney General. But the interesting thing about that is a bunch of people have said that Keith Ellison can't possibly be sworn in as Attorney General because he's voluntarily suspended his law license and isn't caught up on his continuing legal education. So we'll put that to bed real quick when he's sworn in as Attorney General, and that'll be the biggest non-story that you can have in the attorney world. Other than that, I know I got a couple votes. Thank you to me and Lady Rackets for that, because I really appreciate it. Let's move on. No more election talk. Your election coverage is elsewhere, and I don't. That's what I promise. So those two things both made me just kind of smile a little bit, except for the Keith Ellison thing, which made me frown horrendously. But all right. Next was Mithrin Emrys again. FFS, I'm a 1L in Texas and apparently know more about Texas law than Marky Poo. And I assume you mean Mark Zaid. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, I don't understand their strategy, at all, what they're doing. And, it does seem to speak to like a weird lack of knowledge of what's going on. It's almost like Zaid was hired to be just a mouthpiece and not to do much of the legal work, which I'm starting to suspect. Sketch therapy. Is it okay if I occasionally post the election tally? Yeah, buddy. My chat is open. One thing I will say, in moving to Streamlabs, they don't let me interact with Windows, browser windows in the way that regular OBS does. So I'm strongly considering switching back to regular OBS and manhandling the Streamlabs scripts into that. This is all behind the scenes stuff. You guys wouldn't notice much of a difference, but I really hate that it's stuck on Top Chat on the recording, but it is, and there's nothing I can do about it because Streamlabs OBS doesn't allow you to interact with a browser source. So if you can Google it, and if you find a way to do it, please let me know. But in my looking, I haven't found a way to do it. And then finally, Mithrin Emrys says, looking forward to dealing with a bunch of butthurt classmates tomorrow. They were all for Beto. Yeah, you're in law school, buddy. Even in Texas, there's no way. All right, so let's jump into these exhibits. I've sufficiently prefaced this stream with like 15 minutes of not what we're covering. Let's talk about this stuff. Okay. Oh, and let me add as an aside to this. We'll briefly talk about the doxing that occurred today, and I'll probably get a little tipsy enough to give my thoughts on some of the stuff that's been going on with Cash Grab and in the Comicsgate community, and you guys can take that as you will. Or won't. It's not, I don't have like favoritism or allegiance or anything like that. I just want to give some thoughts on some dangers that I've been seeing crop up in the community. And you guys who are in Comicsgate as fans are going to drive that. You guys will drive where the community goes. Make no mistake. Don't let faction lines divide the fans. It's okay if faction lines divide the creators. Don't let it divide the fans. People are going to disagree, and that's okay. This is from Arotothen. Arotothen says, are they expecting a mistrial versus Comicsgate, etc.? No. No, they're not expecting a mistrial, I don't think. I think some people have speculated they're trying to set up a narrative of abuse to make Mark Waid look like a victim, to garner a bunch of sympathy, and then to say, oh, look, the racist one, it's not fair, they were mean, or whatever. Like that may be a strategy, or to say we had no choice but to settle because the harassment was hashtag all too real, or whatever it is. So So there's that. But no, I don't think they're expecting a mistrial. They're going to try and win. Maybe. We'll see how this goes. There's some really interesting kind of behind the scenes stuff that seems to be brewing. I'm not gonna talk about much on that front because I don't have concrete answers. Oh, and now that there's over 500 people, thank you, by the way, for having tuned in on this election night with such a strong crowd. I will definitely address a very specific accusation leveled at me. The most upright, forthright, and transparent guy I can think of in this situation is me. I might be biased, but someone has accused me of not doing my due diligence and has viciously impugned my character in saying that I may have not told the truth about attempting to contact Mark Zaid before making a video about my thoughts that he might have withdrawn as counsel. So I have responded to defend my own honor that of course I sent an email to Mr. Zaid and he did not respond. Several people have asked me to post the email. I am not going to post it, but a little bit later, as we get into this thing a little bit, I am going to show it on this video. But I'm not going to post it to Twitter or whatever. It will be here, and if people want to see it, they can see it here. I will redact email addresses. I'll look at it and make sure there's no confidential info in the part that I'm going to snip. I'm not going to just pull up the thing live, but I will give you the full context with date stamps on the email to allow you to make your own decision on whether I did my duty in pursuing that story. So I am not one to, guys, I am happy. I can't say this enough. My integrity matters to me. I'm happy to be wrong and be corrected. Happy to. This is going to sound like I'm tooting my own horn. I'm not. What I'm attempting to do is very difficult. Okay? I am a small attorney in Minnesota. It's just me. I don't have paralegals. I don't have secretaries. I don't have partners. I don't have a big firm. It's just me. Like, you come into my office, you're talking to me. I'm attempting to explain legal concepts outside of my practice areas, across jurisdictional lines, in different areas of authority. And I try very hard to do a very good job of that. And it takes a lot of time to research some of those issues. I will get things wrong. I will miss something at some point, and I will not be able to predict everything. If you don't believe me, talk to a lawyer about it, and talk to them about speaking about outside of their practice areas. It's really tough to do. It's really tough. I'm not perfect, so I'm happy to make mistakes, but all of the mistakes I make, I will say, are made in good faith of me trying to bring you good information. So I will talk to you about that. I'm very open about it. And if I make a mistake and I'm called on it, you can watch. I correct it immediately, and I lead with that correction. So thankfully, I haven't made any lately that I'm aware of. But when I do, you guys will be first to know. All right. Mithra Nemris says, expert DC legal strat. They was meanie poo-poo heads. Give me Gibbs now. Absolutely. Okay. So here we go. Diversity in comics. So this is their evidence. This is all of the evidence. Now remember what this is. This is a jurisdictional argument. All right. I haven't looked at this. So this is fresh for me. It may be fresh for you. Some of you may have already looked this up. I don't know. But this is evidence for a jurisdictional argument. So we're going to talk and try and figure out what they think is jurisdictional about this. I can tell you, my brain has told me this one's answer already. This is Diversity in Comics. I run the Diversity in Comics YouTube channel. Coughs. Look at this. He's clearly in New York, because his location says so. So there you go. That's what it says. Oh, don't worry, guys. The yelling will be coming. The yelling will be coming. Dave, what do I do about notary services? I have a friend who's a notary. And then if that friend is not available, well, I have a couple friends who are notaries, like in the same place. And if they're not available, I just have like an arrangement with them where they let me do it for free. And then if they're not available, I just will take the client over to my bank and my bank will notarize based on my account. So. All right. So obviously they're trying to say that because this post says New York, New York, that Mark Waid thinks that Zach, your boy Zach, is in New York, and that's it. Next. I'm Zach, is ya boy, the Grim Meeper of comics. Now notice this is... Wait, is this just the... Okay, that's just the first page. So they just did a full screenshot. Like they could have just snipped out this part and showed that, but they decided to have the first couple... Okay. Good job. Good exhibit. He's clearly from New York. No one else. There's no other possible explanation. He couldn't be in Texas. Bebo Bub says, I like you. I like you right back, buddy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Next. Oh, this is good. This is no enemy but peace. This is... This is the bleeding cool. How do I even label this? This is the. Oh gosh, I'm not drunk enough for that insult yet. We'll get back to it. I'll save it. Don't worry. I'll recycle that one for the liquor. This is their. We'll call it a Russian floss job. I'll explain what a Russian floss job is if you don't know. A little bit later, but this is the Russian floss job of Mark Waid by Rich Johnston from Bleeding Cool. All right, thank God they've highlighted the important parts for us. So this is Rich Johnston. This is May 13th. So this is like right after this happens. They've highlighted the important parts. Let's see what they find important to the jurisdictional argument. Oh, and if you want to throw your speculations in the chat as to what a Russian floss job is, go ahead. Go ahead. Meyer's latest crowdfunded comic project was on Indiegogo. Jawbreakers is a military superhero comic to be drawn by well-known comic artist John Malin, with covers by Ethan Van Sciver and colors by Brett Smith. Colors, because apparently is Rich Johnston European? Is Bleeding Cool a European publication? After the success of Meyer's YouTube channel, Diversity in Comics, famed for criticizing what one might term progressive storylines in comics, learn to write. Throwing constant... Wait. Why is there... Let's English this sentence. After the success of Meyer's YouTube channel, Diversity in Comics, famed for criticizing what one might term progressive storylines in comics, throwing constant and repeated gratuitously offensive insults at anyone involved with them and rallying others to do likewise, this crowdfund did a lot better. So is this whole thing supposed to be removed? So it should just say, after the success of Meyer's YouTube channel, Diversity in Comics, this crowdfund did a lot better, I guess. Whew. All right. Okay. So that's not very helpful. The project raised over $250,000 from more than 6,500 people, though a brief glance at a couple of pages of the many donors shows that quite a number of those seem to be people pledging repeatedly for multiple copies. Whoa! Whoa! How is this relevant to your jurisdictional argument? A number of comic book retailers took it upon themselves to state that they wouldn't be carrying the book. There's much concern regarding some of Meyer's statements and the actions of his followers. Recently, his posting and subsequent deletion of one video he dubbed The Dark Roast on YouTube seemed to concentrate much of this together in one place, attacking comics creators and critics alike. Okay. How does this relate to Jurisdiction, Zaid? It included discussion over which kind of pedophiles Mark Waid, Dan Slott, and Brian Michael Bendis were. Well, what kind of pedophiles are they? Did we ever get to the answers? Meyer, did you do your job? Did you follow through on your journalistic inquiry and find out exactly which kind of pedophiles these guys are? I want to know. I want to know. What age of child do you have to keep away from them? Because I still have no idea. I still have no idea. That Devin Grayson literally sucked her way into the comic industry. Literally sucked her way into the comic industry. Now, let's lawyer that sentence, okay? What does that mean? Because it doesn't say literally sucked the penis of the person who would promote her into the comic industry, does it? Does it, Zaid? You're the one who's going to make semantic arguments all over the place. I already know, because you have the look of a dumb Poindexter. That's not what he meant. He meant this. When he said here in Texas, what he meant was not here in Texas. That's what he meant. Right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to try and argue that in 11 days, from the time that he made that first phone call to AP until he was at Comics Palooza, hand-jobbing himself about what he did, you're going to argue that he just happened to learn everything about AP in those 11 days. He's just going to happen to have learned that AP was from Texas in those 11 days. He didn't know it before. He was too stupid before, but in a fortnight, he figured all of it out enough to speak confidently about it in front of a crowd of people where he would go on to lie about the plaintiff. That's what you're going to argue, right, you stupid cuck? Literally sucked her way into the comic industry literally means she sucked her way into the comic industry. That doesn't say anything about fellatio. It doesn't say anything about having a penis put in her mouth or a vagina. I don't know what stripe she is. Doesn't matter, does it? It says she sucked her way into the comic industry. Now, if she sucks at writing comics and sucked her way in, then that's what happened. That's what Meyer meant. Why are you making this about sucking cock? What's wrong with you? Why is that on your mind, Zaid? What's in your perverted head? How dare you? How dare you impugn the good words of diversity in comics, twisting them like some sort of ridiculous, smarmy lawyer. Disgusting. Mithrin Emrys says they prefer to be called ephebophiles or MAPs, minor attracted persons. Every time I see MAPs, I think like such as, maybe it's because like, or such as the education system of America, like many people don't have maps. Darking D says, can a judge rule against a defendant because their evidence is all irrelevant? Yes. Because I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of irrelevant evidence. Me too. Me too. Okay, so apparently Devin Grayson literally sucked her way into the comics industry all the way in, and that Waid left his wife so he can go freaking hit on cosplay girls. Wait, Waid wasn't married though, right? That's what Waid says. Waid says he wasn't married, or he learned that he was married from the internet. So maybe he isn't? Was Waid ever married? Do we have confirmation on this? I saw something about Nige donated jur. Donated $2 to say jur. Nige donated for jur. Thanks, Nige. Do we have confirmation? I saw somewhere that Waid was a member of the LGBTQ community. And I I know so little about Mark Waid. Like, if there's one subject that is no interest to me, it's a soy ball comic book artist who works for, or comic book writer who works for DC or Marvel. I've only gotten into comics in any sort of appreciable way recently through diversity in comics getting treated like this. Outside of that, I haven't been following. So I don't know Waid from anybody else. Is he gay? Is he straight? I heard reports that he was married. Maybe he just had a girlfriend. They were business partners. I don't know. I don't know what the story is. If anybody can help me on that, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Rob Nick says, this is like the best of DNC Comic Gold. Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the process in these big public cases that involve like insults and banter, is that, picture this. Some guy or girl at a law office was paid a boatload of money to go through and compile the best bants they possibly could from one side and put them in a document for us. It's happened in the Maddox versus Dick Masterson lawsuit. In that case, the poor sap that got stuck doing it was Maddox because he can't afford a lawyer. So he was the cuck who had to go find all of the insults to himself, which was everybody calling him a cuck. And he had to categorize them and send them to his lawyer with explanations for each one. That's what's going on here. Look at all these mean insults, and we get to all just go, oh, that was pretty funny. Matt Santori Griffith is a effing, oh my goodness, DNC is a effing FAG. Wow. Is a hepping homo. We'll say a hecking homo. Matt Santori Griffith is a hecking homo, according to Diversity in Comics, censored version. Wow, how dare they? How dare. So next, we got a couple chats. Mithrin Emmer says, yeah, Mark doesn't want to piss off a Texas judge. I've seen a few get vicious with an attorney they feel is wasting their time. Judges get real tired of nonsense really quickly. Gateway into Comics says, hey everyone, check out my videos. I release one video every day about my entire comic script writing process from start to finish. We are Comicsgate, so definitely check out Gateway into Comics' channel. Alan Grant says, nice to get a break from midterm. Good job, Rackets. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining me. It's going to maybe ramp up. It depends. Depends on how spicy DNC is. So, guys, if you get bored with this video, you can blame your boy Zach for not being funny enough. All right, here we go. That Heather Antos is a cum dumpster who got a job at Marvel because elliptical, or ellipses, not an elliptical. That's a running ellipses. Jordan White is a sad sack perv who jacked off to her. I don't even know these people. But it's ooh. Have you guys pop quick or quick hand show? Have any of you guys ever been made fun of on the internet before? Oh man, it's the worst, isn't it? Female editors at Marvel, as seen in the milkshake photo, are literally just working girlfriends for these creepy middle-aged or approaching middle-aged white guys who can't get any girl to talk. Full stop, full stop, full stop. We know this is true. We know it. You know it's true because any of you who have worked anywhere staffed by middle-aged men, and I mean the middle-aged men making the hiring decisions, know you've seen it. You've seen this. They leer, they creep, if they're like older single guys. This is a thing. This is a hashtag Me Too. Your boy Zach is on top of the cultural zeitgeist around the oppressed women in the workplace, and he's calling out the comics industry for it. And if I can promise you anything, it's that puffy-faced, red stubble-flecked maggots like Mark Waid are definitely hiring younger, attractive females to surround themselves with something that makes them happy. It's how it's worked forever. It's in every industry. And while I know that Pustule has said that they were throwing out the a-holes from comics, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. They're throwing out the people that they politically disagree with, and they're the a-holes who are leering and salivating and slobbering all over women constantly. And if you know this is all over the entertainment industry, and what are comics pros if not want to be Hollywood? If they're not want to be Hollywood, what are they? Mark Waid lives in Santa Monica. He does all his work in California. There's no need for him to be there. Why is he there? He's Hollywood adjacent, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's their big ticket. It's their big ticket to the actual attractive women. Of course it is. Me Too's real in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean we should listen to the conclusions of Me Too, but they've identified some problems, right? Harvey Weinstein picking up 20-year-old models constantly, bringing them up to his hotel room. This isn't new. It's not news. Of course this is what they're doing. Of course it is. Let's see. Merlot Williams. Haven't donated in a while. You're a good man, Rackets. You know why. Cheers to you, my friend. Back at you, buddy. Back at you, buddy. Thank you for watching. Emmanuel Hernandez says, Myers Indiegogo campaign. Yes, the one in question says he's in Austin. No! Don't you dare bring facts into this. Remember, Mark Waid knew the guy at Antarctic Press, and he knew that guy hadn't researched Meyer enough. So he had to call and tell that guy, hey, just so you know, that guy, he's in New York. Let's see what's next. Bring the bands, Zach. That B. Claymore is a effing piece of poop. Why is that highlighted, but the rest of the sentence isn't? You left out the rest. I'm pretty sure he lives off his wife like she's the breadwinner. He's like in Kansas, and he never has any real job. I think he intermittently likes coaches a girl like high school's girls like baseball. Zach, you're gonna have to work on that elocution. The likes are strong with this one, like buddy. I need to go watch The Dark Rose sometime. I need to do that because I never have. And it seems like it's just a gem. But here's the question. Where's the jurisdictional argument? Where's the jurisdictional argument? This is a bad man bad argument. Bad man bad arguments don't work. Certainly don't work from a Bush-appointed former Marine judge that you got there, Zaid. Oh, you're in Texas, buddy. You're not in D.C. To be fair, Zaid didn't write this. He may not have compiled any of this. He might not even know what's in this motion. Don't know. And that Mags Visaggio is a effing crazy person, a criminal who is definitely going to kill himself. And it's just where, when, and how. By the way, Mags did not transition. Mags is a trans trender. It's literally just a pervert. It's a cross-dresser. It's someone with a fetish. Okay. Well, there you go. Nothing to do with jurisdiction. I don't know why that's in here. This is all in just one video. Can you smell it coming off of Rich Johnston? The moral indignation, the righteous defense of women and the LGBTQ community coming off of white man Rich Johnston, running alongside his fellow white knight, Mark Waid, to defend the world from the tyranny of a private video that that no one saw until you guys brought it out. This is all just in one video. He has posted much more in a similar vein about Mags Visaggio. You already mentioned Mags, as well as the likes of Erica Henderson, Tamara Bondvillain. Should be Tamara Bondvillain. You missed a golden opportunity. Change your name. I hope you're attractive if you're a Bond villain. But Tamara Bond villain. Gabby Rivera, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and more. Akasit says, can't join today because I'm stuck in a tech meeting with geeks in Taiwan. Here are my shekels. Oh, thank you so much, sir. I'm sorry you can't join today. Nothing worse than being with a bunch of geeks. Although maybe Taiwanese geeks are cooler than American geeks. I don't know. And I mean the nasty geeks. Not like the people who have adopted geek or nerd culture or whatever that is. No, you know who he's talking about. Meyer also posted some private Facebook screen caps from a retailer group, how dare he, in which retailers discuss whether they would order any copies of the comic or any Antarctic book or not. Yeah, those retailers may have been violating the law. The only hard part is determining if there were ever enough damages to pursue that claim. Probably not, unfortunately, with most deciding not. He then posted the names of the retailers, their stores, and contact details. Oh no! Oh no! Zach, why would you do that? Why would you post a store and contact information for a store and the name of the retailer who runs it? Oh man, that would be so weird. Stores suddenly experienced offensive social media messages. Hey, carry the book that we want to buy. What? Making public statements about public businesses is not in any way unlawful. It's not. It's not unlawful unless it's specifically defamatory. But he took their conversation and posted it. And he didn't surreptitiously get it. According to him, it was given to him. And it's on a social media platform. That means they consented to the social media platform distributing the wire or intercepting the wire communication. And whoever gave it to him consented to the recording. So even if they're in a two-party state, and since I don't know who it is, they might only be in a one-party state, doesn't matter. Twitter or Facebook Messenger, plus whoever gave it to you, boy Zach. That's two parties. That private conversation can absolutely be disclosed because it's not private, is it? Is it? It's a group conversation, and not everybody in that group agreed to keep it private. It's not private. Doesn't involve trade secrets, doesn't involve business secrets, doesn't involve privileged communications. You may not like it. You may not like it. But that's what you signed up for in your private group. They get posted all the time. It's legal, you dummies. It's legal. It's not even unethical. It's not immoral. And posting the names and addresses that are publicly available of where you cannot buy a book helps people find out where they can buy a book, or to call the store and say, hey, can you please carry this? Because customers can always contact public retailers to ask them to do business in a different way. And if your argument is that, well, then people called the retailer to ask them to do business in a different way that suited what they wanted to buy, I hope a Texas judge yells at you for 30 minutes straight. I would say unmans you, but we all know that that's long gone. Get with the times, rackets. This is from Mithrin Emrys. Get with the times, rackets. It's LGBTQIAA2PP plus community now, and I'm sad I know that. Oh, if you knew, I figured you looked it up. Hook Gak says it's okay for them to dox and call places of work to get people they don't like fired, but posting publicly known info about a company isn't cool. Hashtag heart you BTW. Heart you back, buddy. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the double standards here. It's amazing the double standards at play. Here are places you can't buy my book. Don't harass them. Is the worst thing you can say. I'm a cosplayer pretending to be a fraud analyst, accountant. Hey, by the way, if you're a licensed accountant in Texas, you fraud analyst, you might be violating the Texas accounting rules by claiming to be a fraud analyst in the same breath as suggesting someone might be committing fraud on their Indiegogo without you having analyzed forensically any of the documents involved. You stupid pile of garbage. How dumb are you? How dumb are you, you dumb twat? What are you thinking? You have a professional license. Act like it. Act like it. What are you thinking, trying to lend credibility to your baseless assertion that someone is committing fraud by suggesting that your license would give you a better perspective on it when you know you haven't examined the books? You liar. You disgusting small vagina. You lying sack of garbage. You person who will dox someone and be like, huh? You two-faced, duplicitous piece of trash. What are you thinking? Someone could contact the Texas Accounting Board. Just about anybody could. And have them open inquiries into your activity. It's not the first time you've made a stupid professional assertion on Twitter because you're wrapped up in the bants. You dummy. You're gonna step over and commit a crime while you've got the ball sack of some incel stuck in your mouth. Go back to your husband. You idiot. Next. Offensive social media messages had personal social media accounts targeted and saw a flood of 1-star reviews hit their Facebook pages. Well, haven't we all? Disable it. Disable it. Or enable it. Counteract them. People don't like your store because you're not selling a book they want to buy. You crybabies. How about you sell the book? How about you just do business instead of doing politics? Your politics, you should be the most racist people on the planet. You should only like green. Everything else should be ancillary to you. Clay's roommate says, we have went way past get bent, sir. Rich Johnston. I spoke to Antarctic Press's Ben Dunn to find out more about his decision to publish Jawbreakers, as his initial post on his Facebook page was starting to get a number of negative comments already. He told me initially they were behind the creator 100%, but as to retailers' concerns, said, of course I am concerned about our relation with retailers. Well, yeah, of course he is. When a bunch of little soybeans stuck in their little edamame pod get together and say they're not going to buy any books from you if you decide to publish a book of someone they don't like, even though it's going to be a massive success, you get worried. You get worried because retailers are the lifeblood of distributors. At least they were. I think Peter Sameti's showing them a little different now, right? But he's working really hard. Peter, you gotta hire like some high schoolers to intern with you, stuff all those envelopes. Siren Jag says, Renfamous has taken to looking up the names of large donors of Zach online and posting their personal info now. Oh, and now she claims that she's an accountant too. Yeah, she claims she's an accountant. She also claims she's a fraud accountant. I mean, I guess. Sweetcast said, Zaid harassed me on Twitter today. I just made a video about it. Check it out on my channel and subscribe. Yes, I saw you post that, Sweetcast. Everybody, when you get a few minutes, go check out Sweetcast's channel. Check out that video he posted today. Zaid was on a rant, and we're going to get into that. Maybe, if I live through this. Where's the jurisdictional argument, you dope? I like to think that over 30 years of publishing comics, including comics like Strangers in Paradise, Gold Digger, Ninja High School, etc., that they know that we are creators' rights publisher. However, I respect their right to order as they see fit and servicing their customers in the best way possible. Look at that. Oh, man. That definitely says I was going to cancel my contract with Zach. Next, we've got... Oh, this is the post. Okay, get ready. Here come screenshots from the retailers colluding to prevent customers from buying Jawbreaker's Lost Souls in comic book shops. It's from a private Facebook group for retailers titled Final Order Cutoff. Now, they didn't seem fit to highlight any of this stuff. I don't know why. And you can, by the way. Ben told me... Okay. Yeah. Look, he's still supporting him at this point. They didn't see fit to highlight that either. But on reading some of Meyer's quotes about other comic creators, Ben seems shocked. Maybe there's a party to add to this lawsuit, Rich Johnston. Are you the one doing this? You're the one calling him up and saying, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? Maybe there's a co-defendant to this lawsuit. Rich Johnston from Bleeding Cool. Can your online magazine sustain a lawsuit of this magnitude? You got 50 grand tucked away, Rich Johnston? You people think you can just do this. You think you can just go around and try and ruin the employment and lives of other people. You think messing with people's money isn't what gets people in trouble with the law on a good day and dead on a bad day. You think all of these Comicsgate people are unhinged lunatics on the right, which means we all have 50 guns strapped to us at all times, except me, because all of my guns tragically fell in the lake, and I don't even remember what lake it was on, so I've lost all mine. But everybody else, you think they're walking around with guns all over the place like some sort of anime villain, pulling guns out of orifices and just mowing people down in the streets, and you're going after their money? What kind of stupid are you? What kind of moron says, this is a bunch of unhinged lunatics who might murder someone, Let's go defund them with lies and little weasel statements. Rich Johnston, what are you thinking? I mean, I guess whatever prosthetic balls you bought to write this article, good job. Maybe. But maybe you don't actually believe any of that and you're just lying. Right? You're just liars. Constantly lying. It's embarrassing. Clay's roommate says, Nick, what are you drinking tonight? This was Whistle Pig. Where'd that go? Oh. Whistle Pig, 10-year rye whiskey. Strong recommend. And I think I had some gin, too. Okay. Look what they didn't bother to highlight. Let me help. We'll highlight that for him. Bunch of highlights, you idiot. Look at what your client did, you dummy. I have a call into Antarctic Press until I hear back. We've read this. We've all read this. Let's move on. Why didn't they highlight any of this stuff? Sometime after, Antarctic Press posted the following. What? Sometime after, Antarctic Press posted this block of text right here. Right? This one that you keep ignoring in all of your filings. You lying sack of garbage. Many forces, many of them should be viewed with great trepidation about how our society acts, have led us to this decision. We do not take this decision lightly, as we do believe that there should be separation between art and the artist, and that separation has been blurred in our decision. Yeah, that looks like they're They're not breaching a contract based on this, right? These two things right here that you've just neglected to highlight. Where Darking D says, it's very kind of you to make sure the fish can defend their liberty. Yep. Yeah. Where Tiger Ray says, why do you have guns on the lake? What are you hiding? Also, any update on the 911 tape? No, not yet. I need to get some people some instructions on that. There's the 911 tape, I have been told by the Muncie Police Department, does not exist. However, we're looking at getting the police report that should have been filed because an officer was dispatched, as according to the CAD report that was there. Looking for the more thorough police report. I don't know what it would say. It might be completely mundane and uninteresting, but working on that. And that's me just being busy. So, but as for the tape and the transcript, I've been told they don't exist. We're working on that too, just to make sure that that answer is correct. Smegma Bukaki 69, very interesting name, sir. Says, do you get to be a super lawyer if Zaid loses? I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I don't even know. I don't know what it takes to be a super lawyer. I'm not super lawyerly. No one ever asked me if I could be a super lawyer. No one told me I can. All right, so then here's the post from Diversity in Comics. Good guys win, bad guys lose. Mark Waid and SJW cry bullies, viciously harass Antarctic Press. So of course they didn't want to highlight that piece either, or this piece. All this stuff, they just didn't want to do that. They didn't highlight this. And then Hugh Gack says, all in all, I'm just glad we have Mark to save us. Yeah, no kidding. I'm not going to read all of this. Or should I? Should I read all of Mark Waid's statements? No, I mean, you guys know this, right? You guys know this. Yeah. I knew to be a good guy. I called the publisher. I knew it. I knew him. Let's see. Not to warn him like, hey, if you know it's good for you, I'm just saying. Yeah, not to do that at all. Just warn him that he may not realize who he'd gotten in bed with. That's what he was doing. Not like the other warn, just this warning. Marsupial, Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry, I missed it. It says it didn't come up. I see it. It says, if two or more companies collude to not carry a product, does that not break antitrust laws? Facially, it might. Antitrust is very, it's heavy. Heavy stuff. Very fact intensive. I talked pretty heavily about my thoughts on it. I think it'd be a really weak claim. It'd be very expensive to pursue. And I don't know that they'd be successful. So hopefully, Marsupial, that's the chat you're talking about. And if I do miss this, because again, this is a new thing for me, right? Like a new format that I'm working with. So if I miss a super chat from you, feel free to tag me in the chat and let me know, and I will make sure and address it. So let's see. Again, I pointed this out. Xenophagia says, you're a super lawyer to us, bro. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks. I just want to point out again, looked at all of this stuff before, looked at all of these things. I've talked about these things. I've talked about this evidence before, coming from Waid. But it's interesting to go back and reanalyze based on what they've said. part of their argument is that Waid had no business contacts that were significant and not ongoing and continuous contacts with the forum state. But here he is in this highlighted section saying, once the dust settles, I will do business with you. I am a publisher. I will publish an interview to my 5,000 Facebook friends, 100,000 Twitter followers, my industry support that I've garnered through a GoFundMe campaign with a who's who of comic books, all of that, right? Look at all of the influence Mark Waid has. He's just calling this publisher to offer him a business proposal. He's literally asking to enter the forum state of Texas. He's going to have it sign a consent waiver, and then he's going in raw, buddy. That's what he's doing right here. He's defeating his own argument with his own words because he clearly intended to repeat offend on the how many sex offender jokes can I veil in there? It's jokes. They're jokes. I don't actually have any information to state that Mark Waid is a sex offender. They're jokes about penetrating the forum state and taking advantage of and raping and pillaging the forum state and asking to enter into the forum state, whether it consents or not. Like, all of that's going on here, right? Like, we're getting the joke? Okay. My almost 11-year-old, he likes to explain his jokes to me. So I figured I'd do the same thing because I know that's how you make jokes funnier. Why aren't you highlighting any of this stuff? None of this is important to you. You should highlight this. Highlight him. Look at that. Lazarian 444, Mark Waid is pretty good at making veiled threats. Yeah, he is. He is. Exhibit 3. Oh, look at that. It's the Sultan of Pie, Ethan Van Sciver. All right. Here's why they've included this. It's really predictable. He's in New Jersey. We didn't know anyone was in Texas. He's in New Jersey. John Malin, he's in Michigan Badlands. We don't know anything. He's not in Texas either. How could we have known? Brett R. Smith, he's in Arizona. They're not in Texas. How could I have possibly known that someone who has nothing to do with those three outside of he hired them separately is in Texas? Here we go. More bans from Zach. Can anyone name me a female comic book writer in American comics who is actually a woman, not SJW, doesn't insult or attack customers, at least moderate in talent? Well, can you? Can you do that? Like, honestly, even if you are an SJW, can you accomplish this 4-part test? This is how we do things in the legal world. It's a 4-part test. Can you do it? I mean, I think we can, right? We know what's the one girl who used to be the burlesque dancer? I was on Comicsgate Live with her, Martina, right? Martina. I don't want to say her last name because I don't remember what it is, but I think her name's Martina. Very nice, very sharp lady. Really interesting. I'd love to talk to her a little more and kind of learn her story. Learn what she's been through, as women on the right have some pretty interesting stories, by the way, especially in any sort of artsy or folk community. Burlesque is certainly one of them. But Zach, you're wrong. You're wrong, buddy, because there's at least one. I think there's two. I talked to someone on my channel. What's her name? Oh man, guys, I'm so bad with names, and I've been drinking a little bit, so I don't remember. But yeah, and if there are more women in comics out there who are actually women, not SJWs, don't insult or attack customers, and moderate in talent, yeah, Come on my show and we'll talk about your products too. Yeah, Martina Marcota. Martina Marcota, thank you. Thank you. And and yeah, if there's anybody else, and if you guys remember the name of the person I did the interview with, she was fantastic as well. She and her husband have a young child. I remember a lot about people. Names are elusive to me. Mindy Wheeler, thank you, Mindy Wheeler. Mindy, I apologize. Please forgive me. Like I said, bad at names. Diversity in comics. He has called Daryl Ayo a retard. I think. Well, he just said retard. Oh, guys, I can legally explain this. He was saying retard. This is late. This is not retard. That would be a pejorative for mentally handicapped. And we kind of moved away from using that. It's like the R word. We don't use retard anymore because it can be unfairly descriptive of people. He's saying retard. It's French for late, running behind, something like that. So Daryl Ayo must be behind the games. Certain goals will call for certain kinds of art. It's no problem because there are different kinds of artists who do those different kinds of art. Everybody wins. Yeah, I think that's late. That's a late opinion. Diversity in comics. The DC Writers Workshop had only 8 people in it, and one was trans, and another was non-binary. This isn't business, which hires on merit. This is modern day carnival. See the bearded lady. See the dog boy. WTF. Okay. Again, what does this have to do with jurisdiction? None of these posts are probative of if they're in Texas or if your client has significant ties to Texas. That's the whole argument you made, right? That the plaintiff's residence has nothing to do with the claim or with jurisdiction. Only that your client's ties to Texas matter. But none of this says anything about your client's ties to Texas. So what are you doing here besides being a disingenuous prick? What are you doing? You're wasting everybody's time. She was hired for an editor position even though she has the resume of a summer intern because boobs. Boobs. That's... Oh, man. They hired a race hustler. Not a race hustler! You call someone a race hustler, that's the same as calling them, I don't know, I guess a pedophile. What? That's not even it's not a bad insult. Well, I guess maybe Richard Spencer's a race hustler too, right? Oh, good. Exhibit 5. Maybe this one will talk about the jurisdictional argument. Hey, Zaid and crew, you guys didn't file a 12B6 motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim? You didn't file a motion for summary judgment? None of this belongs here. Facts. Mark Waid put a call into our office. Staff took a message and told Mr. Waid our publisher would be informed. Nobody at AP contacted CB Cebulski or Marvel nor felt threatened in any way by Mr. Wade's call. We have not been bullied into a decision by any comics pro. Why do you guys lie about everything? Good job, IMC. Antarctic Press. This is an untrue story. Fire your social media person. Mark C says, if Zaid loses this case, I'll buy and ship you a super lawyer t-shirt complete with cape. What's your shirt size? I go with an adult medium these days, I guess. I lost like 25 pounds over the past 6 months or so. So yeah, I think I'm in a... This is good TV right here. This is a large, but large or medium. If it fits kind of big, medium. If it fits kind of small, large, I guess. This is a untrue story. Please do not spread it. Nobody at AP contacted Marvel. Mark Waid did not bully anyone at our company, though he did call and express concern. No letters were written between us and Marvel. Mark shed more light on the situation, and other factors came into play that do not involve any staff or freelancers at any other company that have led us to our decision. Look at that! Let me just... Mark shed more light on the situation, comma, separate thought, an apposition, I believe it's called. If I have any English people out there, I believe it's an apposition. And then that led us to our decision. Mark shed more light on the situation. That led us to our decision. Mark shed more light on the situation. That led us to our decision. That's tortious interference, you pimple-faced moron in DC. We wish the Jawbreakers team success in their next phase. It's now bigger than we could have handled. They have lined up another publisher who can get them into a bigger venue than we could have. Have they? Nope. They didn't do that, did they? Exhibit 6. I'm correct on the grammar note. Thank you. Thank you. Antarctic Press. Ultimately, some of our staff and freelancers were uncomfortable sharing a platform with anyone who makes disparaging remarks about anyone in this community. We had to cut ties. We wish Richard all the best. Antarctic Press. Earl, we do not care either way what any other company does. We are so far moved from their radar that we know our decisions are of no concern for them either. Some of our staff was uncomfortable once more light was shed on the creator. Well, how did this happen? I don't know. Maybe Mark shed more light on our situation. We had to make a choice we could live with. We have other creators who are right and left, but who have not made personal attacks. They are the creators we decide to work with. Exhibit 7. Ooh, they archived this one. This is... you already have this in the article. Redacted, 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 redacted. Redacted, 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 redacted. Oh, let's read Zach's tweets. I won't read all of the posts. Another comic shop owner colluding to remove choice from comic book customers. Yeah? That's a public statement about a public business who does public business. It's a public accommodation. He can say anything about them just about, unless it's a lie. But it isn't, is it? Another comic shop owner colluding across international borders to prevent customers from being able to buy Jawbreakers Lost Souls in stores. Exhibit 8. Oh, I wonder what's next. Trolls in the Gate. Trolls at the Gate. What is this? This is from hashtag Comicsgate. How an anti-diversity harassment campaign in comics got ugly and profitable. Turbo Dong says, Racket's looking real jacked, baby. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. In just a minute, I'm going to switch to Brandy. That'll be delightful. An ugly new front in the online culture wars targets women, people of color, and LGBT folk in the comic book industry. Folk? And some have figured out how to cash in. This is from Asher Elbean. Who's this? Like, hold on. Who's this? Who's this guy? Storyteller for hire. Oh, wow. I bet Asher Elbean has wished he figured out how to cash in on anything. Oh my gosh. Like the people that come out to the circus, are it's always the weirdest people. All right. Good pace job there, Zaid. Zaid's assistant. Mark C says, real long time, true professional women in comics. Ann Nocenti, Barbara Randall, Louise Simonson. Sorry there. Smart enough to not get involved. They probably won't appear on the show. That's fine. That's fine. They don't have to. Absolutely. I'm just putting it out there that if anybody out there knows any women who have experienced the negative side of the comic pro industry and want to tell that story, they can do it right here all day. Smegma Bukaki 69 says, subscribe to PewDiePie. He needs the subs. The Democratic People's Republic of YouTube depends on it. Yeah. The biggest live streams all the time are him versus that other channel, the Bollywood channel. It's just amazing. This is a Daily Beast article. Oh, there it is in the bottom. Oh, the Daily Beast. If you can trust anyone for fair and balanced journalism, it's the Daily Beast. In some ways, it began with the milkshakes. Oh, that's a good hook. Good job, Abner. What's your name? Abner? Asher. Good job, Asher. It's a nice hook. It really brings them into the next paragraph. We're riveted. In July 2017, 5 days after the death of groundbreaking comics publisher Flo Steinberg, a group of Marvel Comics female staff went out for milkshakes to celebrate her legacy. One of them, Heather Antos, it should say in brackets, formerly known as Cum Dumpster. Or maybe this was before that. Was this before or after the Cum Dumpster comment? I don't know. But I think brackets Cum Dumpster is appropriate, right? Because that's how some people know her. Is that what we should do? At the time, an assistant editor at the company working on the unbelievable Gwenpool snapped a selfie of the group holding their sweets and posted it on Twitter. What does this have to do with jurisdiction? I can't get over the what are you making? What point is this? There's no jurisdictional argument. The judge can't consider this in a 12B2 motion. Has anybody figured out what Russian flossing is yet? I don't want to tell you. I don't want to do that to you yet. I'll ruin your night at the end of the stream. Let's see. Got some brandy going. All right. Oh, and guys, just so you're not too discouraged, we're on page 79 of 104. So we actually really have been started on 31. We've gone through like 48 pages now. So it's moving along. It's moving along. All right. Highlight the creepiest collection of stereotypical SJWs, social justice warriors, and a cum dumpster, I guess. Like, anyone could possibly imagine, one user tweeted. While staff and creators from across the comics industry rallied with a Twitter campaign to support Antos, the abuse continued. Much of it was driven by the goading of a single Twitter account, at Diversity in Comics, run by Richard C. Meyer. It was the first It was the first many in the industry had heard of him or the amorphous harassment campaign that came to be known as Comicsgate. Dun, dun, dun. Oh no, Gold God, there's actually a Russian flossing? Uh-oh. I thought I made it up. What is it? Hit me, buddy. Geek culture has been rocked over the past 4 years by repeated outbreaks of reactionary hatred toward women and people of color, and Comicsgate is the latest front in that ongoing battle. What did that didn't have anything. Oh my gosh. I gotta read the caption without. Oh. Sorry. Whew. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I saw something horrible. I'm looking for... Oh, more here we go. Whew. Finally, they got back to the jurisdictional argument. One of the faces of that change is Richard C. Meyer, the owner of the YouTube channel, ironically, thank you, titled Diversity in Comics. Are you sure it's ironic, though? Are you sure it's ironically titled Diversity and Comics? Because isn't he discussing diversity and comics? That's not irony. Oh, yeah. Meyer told the Daily Beast. Why is that highlighted? This is a private video and therefore is under private laws, right? That means it cannot be considered defamatory, or am I wrong? No, the privacy of the video has nothing to do. Let me, oh no. Is this Russian flossing? Ah! That's horrifying. I'll save that for later. Let me address this real quick because I want to dispel the idea of a particular line of argument that's gone on with regards to the dark roast. The privacy of the dark roast is not what makes the dark roast non-defamatory. I can tell another person in private a defamatory statement or publish a defamatory thing in private, and if it's damaging to the person and causes them damage and it meets the other tests of defamation, it's still defamation if it's private or public. It doesn't matter in a legal sense what the privacy of that publication is, okay? It only matters in a practical sense. Is it able to do the damage that they're alleging that it does? Now, sometimes it can. Like if I, in private, say to someone, if I were to privately go to someone and say that Mark Waid likes to fondle the genitalia of underage children, if I were to privately make that statement, then that would be defamatory if it's not true. I think it's probably not true. This is, of course, a hypothetical. But it doesn't matter if I make that statement publicly or if I make that statement privately, as long as it meets all of the other tests of defamation. If it's a false statement made that causes damage, or that is, I guess, reasonably expected to cause damage, and causes actual damage to the person, if it's a false statement made to a third party, doesn't matter if it's public or private. What makes the dark roast likely not defamatory is it's couched in the idea of something called rhetorical hyperbole or a hyperbolic opinion, or joke or parody or comedy. You're not supposed to take it seriously. Zach laid out very clearly that this is a dark roast. It is comedic. It is intended to make fun of or roast someone. These are not intended to be statements of fact. So would a reasonable person looking at Zach's video determine them to be factual statements? And if not, then they're not defamatory. They can't be. They can't be. But further reducing that is the fact that they're engaged in a back and forth in some sort of way about products in the marketplace. that also reduces the possibility of it being defamatory because that is protected political speech. Yes, I did say that correctly. No, it's not the liquor. Commercial disputes or discussions about commercial products are considered protected political speech, at least in Texas. At least in Texas. And we learned this is still the case in Trump versus Stormy Daniels. And part of the dicta there, they mention that any political speech is subject to a rhetorical hyperbole sort of exception. And that political speech includes speech about products put in the marketplace. You can say that something is a terrible product. You can say that people do business in terrible ways, and it cannot be defamatory because that's an opinion about public marketing that's done. All right. So the privacy of it, let's dispel that right now. The privacy of the dark roast may have some practical small impact, but in a legal standard, it doesn't make it not opinion or not actionable. What does make it non-actionable is the fact that it's all premised as opinions for the purposes of comedy. Like when I jokingly said just a little bit ago, a hyperbolic, hypothetical statement about Mark Waid and his proclivities. And that is referencing the earlier joke about Zach saying that they look kind of like pedophiles. See, this is a multi-layer joke that we're going through here. I have no information to say that Mark Waid or anyone involved with him diddles children. All right. So this is Meyer again. I started noticing a lot more weird stuff, he said. Feminization of men, masculinization of women. Basically, all the classic heterosexual pairings being destroyed. You realize this is a trend, and you start wondering why they're doing it. Not if you're the Daily Beast, you don't, Zach. You just step in line and lick those boots. In April of 2017. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, and Zach was actually a resident of New York when he made the dark roast. Well, there you go. There you go. That month, Meyer jumped into the fray with his YouTube channel. His videos, rambling, unscripted, often 20 to 30 minutes long. And guys, anybody who does videos that long, they should probably be Russian flossed. Are a hodgepodge of comics reviews, analysis, and gossip regarding endless online battles. He hammered his theme home in every entry that the failures of the comics industry were the direct result of hiring diverse talent and that they needed to be driven out. So apparently your boy Zach is an ethno-businessist. These videos have drawn admiring comments from Latino, liberal, and trans viewers, Meyer said, and provided screenshots of them. Screenshot mysteriously absent. All right. One of the things about SJWs... I mean, I guess it wouldn't be good if they put up a bunch of screenshots of Latinos, liberal, and trans viewers dispelling the narrative right in the document. That would be... Boy, that would suck harder than that one chick sucked her way into the industry, wouldn't it? One of the things about SJW is that they got a job because of service qualities. Being a woman, being black, being gay, being trans, and there's no adjustment on the ground to negative fan reaction due to low sales. He told the Daily Beast. The milkshake crew particularly raised his ire. They obviously seem not be qualified. They can't listen. Listen to all the physical female characteristics he points out here when he ruthlessly Me Too's these poor, innocent women, some of them. They can't spot basic typos. We know that that's a dog whistle for they don't shave their vaginas. They can't notice major plot holes. We know that is a dog whistle for they don't have big enough tits. They antagonize the fan. We know that's dog whistle for fat. I talk to all these people, actual legitimate talents who can't get a job to save their lives. There you go. Both Meyer's YouTube and Twitter accounts rapidly became a repository for a constant stream of personal attacks and dog whistles for his followers. He had... See, I laid out what those dog whistles are just a second ago, so you know it's true. He has publicly labeled Ta-Nehisi Coates a race hustler. So? And repeatedly mocked DC writer Magdalene Visaggio as a man in a wig. But I mean, at some level, isn't that true? Like, until you're a post-op, aren't you, like, I know that your gender identity may be different, but biologically male in a wig. No hate, by the way, for the trans community. Don't care. That's your choice. Whoa, big foul rackets, I know. When I say that's your choice, I mean the pre-op, post-op stuff, how you choose to express your identity. I'm not saying that the internalized feelings that you're experiencing are your choice. That's your experience and your choice in how you deal with it. Let's distinguish those two before I get Richard Meyered right off the internet. Holy cats. Almost stepped right in a pile of Waid there. He fixates on the physical appearance of female creators he dislikes and retweeted memes mocking certain creators as autistic retards, along with images of himself slapping them. It's still funny. Your boy Richard slapped the autistic retards Meyer. In a private YouTube video called The Dark Roast, originally posted in November 2017 and obtained by the Daily Beast, Meyer called one Marvel editor a cum dumpster, accused various female writers of sucking their way into the industry, and did you use the same insult for multiple women, Zach? How dare you? Come up with a different one. Do them the courtesy. That's the real Me Too. Me Too. He said I sucked my way into the industry also. He didn't even come up with a unique insult for me, and I'm very special. My mom told me so. Oh my goodness. And mused which famous creators were pedophiles or had psychological problems. Well, what else should we muse over? What else is there to muse over? Trans creators, including Visaggio and Tamara Bonvillain. Oh no! Tamara Bonvillain's a trans person? Don't change your name to Bonvillain then. I disavow that statement. Let me lead with my mistake. That was a mistake. A colorist. Well, that seems not right. You should respect all colors. On DC's Doom Patrol are also recurring targets. Meyer's the least subtle about his hatred of trans people, and that goes for many of his followers engaging in harassment, including the trans people that comment and support that you neglected the screenshot up above. They misgender us and call us mentally ill in no uncertain terms. Well, I mean, to be fair, until the most recent DSM, so did literally everybody else. Do you think Meyer's read the new DSM? Bonvillain told the Daily Beast. There's also a certain amount of publicity and money to be gained from tilting at SJWs and firing up a reactionary base. Okay, what does... Like, you highlighted this. Your stupid team was paid money to highlight this and choose this is your evidence. Meyer's whole business model, like Milo and Vox Day before him, is predicated on outrage, Farrago said. Like many independent comics people, Meyer uses crowdfunding to get his creative projects off the ground. Yeah! Courting controversy and picking fights with convenient targets, say, with a shadowy cabal of assistant editors, comics critics, and early career creators, raises his profile. Which leads to more followers, which leads to more money for his projects. And if there's one thing you can't abide, it's someone you disagree with politically making money. Because politics are so wormed in to your brain-damaged minds that you can't separate life from anything. You can't separate politics from anything. You find political problems in your green beans because that's how boring your pathetic lives are. Stop it. Stop it. I know, someone with... Do you guys realize that if conservative people acted the way that the left who hates the right does, with the deplatforming and everything with the wrong thing, if the conservative right acted in any way like you, you would all have starved to death decades ago. Because we've been force-fed liberal opinions that we don't agree with as long as I've been alive by some ridiculous elite tossing out crumbs and specks of entertainment for the peons below. We've had to deal with your garbage being rammed down our throats. Being rammed down our throats for so long that it's funny that even someone trying to just make their own thing looks like that to you. But we've actually had it forced into every property that we care about for at least 30 years. Slowly fisted into us forcefully. And now you're spreading the hand out on the inside. How's it feel? How's it feel? All we want to do is make our own stuff away from you. And we finally have the opportunity to do it. We finally have the opportunity to step back and make an industry and say, you guys just stay over there with your boring agendas. We're going to be over here telling cool stories. And you won't even let us do it. You won't even let us do it. Jance says, how big can this get? Can others be brought in? For example, can Zaid bring in Antos or Magos to contest Zach's account of events? Play up they felt harassed or publicly humiliated? If they have information that's probative to the case, possibly. No, Heather C. That's not Russian flossing. Well, Daniel Owens, maybe it is 60 years, but I've been alive for 36 years, and I am just, about 6 years in, I figured, for consciousness. So that's where we are. Meyer's main achievement seems to be making life miserable for the trans creators and other marginalized figures who bear the brunt of harassment. I think I went through this before because I remember myself screaming at that too. No, his main achievement... This was in 2017. I guess this is before Jawbreakers. I think his main achievement was gathering just a massive YouTube audience to listen to him. That's a pretty good achievement. During the worst times, it was some of the nastiest sexist and or transphobic remarks you could think of. Oh, challenge accepted. I know I can come up with way more nasty, sexist, and transphobic remarks than whatever Meyer has said publicly. Trust me on that. You haven't even glimpsed in the kiddie pool of sexist and transphobic remarks. You guys are just so fragile. Porcelain skin little fairies running around that you can't even imagine how it could get worse. Well, I got news for you, buddy. And budettes. It could get a lot worse than the rather pitiful harassment you've had to deal with. Jeez. Harassment sent to my editors and publishers in an attempt to get me fired or blacklisted. Oh, you're against firing and blacklisting? Who even is this? Oh, is this Sam Sater? Or Heather Antos? Oh no, Sophie Campbell. Sophie Campbell. Trying to dig up personal info about me, said Sophie Campbell, artist of Glory and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again. What this doesn't even have anything to do with the defamation. Because the defamation isn't that Meyer said mean words. Everyone knows Meyer said mean words. The defamation are specific allegations of racism, affiliation with white nationalist groups, and most importantly, about a factual event where your client, Mark Waid, said that Zach published the names and phone numbers of retail store employees, which is not true. All right, Exhibit 9. Here we go. This is the Washington Post. Guys, this is in the Washington Post. Why is Comicsgate in the news? I'm glad that it is. Make no mistake. Okay. Koopa N9 says, is Russian flossing when your tracksuit rides so far up that the post-atomic nuclear wedgie destroys communism? That's good. That's good. No, Russian flossing is when, you know, you move your way into the comics industry. Like maybe you're sucking your way into the comics industry and you pull back after a long session of getting hired, and then you find out that you've got some things stuck between your teeth. You got Russian flossed, okay? That's Russian flossing. Hopefully that helps dispel that. Mark C says, aren't you glad you're covering this case? Yeah, I really am. I really am glad. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Okay. The Comicsgate movement isn't defending free speech, it's suppressing it. As with Gamergate, the voices they seek to silence are often those of women and minorities. Yeah, sure, that's what they're doing. They're seeking to silence these voices. So this is about Chelsea Kane. Kane's experience was one of the most important precursors of Comicsgate. The latest and CPS Lock 3 says, do you think being a Republican is playing hard mode on life? I don't. Well, it depends where you are. I mean, if it's choose your starting location, right? Like if you're in San Francisco, yeah, being a Republican's hard mode on life. You know, if you're in rural Tennessee, I think you're okay. So it all depends. It all depends. Your difficulty slider is very complex in this life. Okay. So Kane's experience is one of the most important precursors of Comicsgate, the latest in reactionary movements and harassment campaigns centered on nerd fandoms. Like Gamergate in games and the sad puppies in literary science fiction Vox Day. Comicsgate claims to be fighting against censorship and the politicized groupthink of leftist social justice warriors, SJWs, anti-racists, feminists, and marginalized people. Listen to how they describe social justice warriors. Anti-racist, feminists, and marginalized people whom the right characterize as oppressors. Yes. No. Just delete that and put in cucks. Because that's what we've officially replaced it with. Or now NPCs, I guess. But again, like those other movements, Comicsgate participants in fact work to silence opinions they dislike and voices they deem malignant. Yes, they do. All the time. The most serious new threat to free speech, however, is the use of free speech as a cover for an ongoing online assault on the enemies of the right. This is double plus good think. Listen, guys, the biggest damage, the biggest danger to free speech is a bunch of people going, everyone should be able to say whatever they want. That's how we suppress the free speech. Holy cats. This guy's got it figured out. Character holding says make them defend mobile. Are you talking about Blizzard? Activision? The most serious new threat to free... Oh, yeah, I just read that. The hashtag Comicsgate started in... let's see. Started in June 2017. A group of female Marvel employees posted a group selfie which they were celebrating the legacy of recently deceased comics publisher Flo Steinberg, one of Marvel's earliest employees. This is going to be the same thing. It's the same thing. Shocker. We have 2 articles saying the exact same thing. Darth Seal says after this lawsuit, Wade's going to be playing on hard mode. He cucked too hard and is getting cucked in return. Yeah, buddy. Jospy says this document is making me butt mad. I can't take it. Okay, this is the same stuff. Where's the jurisdictional argument? You've sent in evidence and none of it. The only thing even tangentially related to jurisdiction is the fact that you have Meyer's location from Twitter a year ago. That's the best you've got. Everything else is just horse cockery. There's nothing. There's no jurisdictional argument even being close to being made here. Like, you realize the judge can't even read this. Comicsgate leader is suing a Marvel DC writer for defamation. The lawsuit is a pretty wild ride. I wonder if I'm quoted in this. That'd be good. Oh, wait, no, this was October 1st. I think this is before. This might have been when I found out I could actually do this case. Talk about this case. Can I play Diablo on my fridge? Yeah, if you have a smart fridge, you can play Diablo now. That'd be great. Let's see what jurisdictional argument are you going to make from an October 1st, 2018 article, you dildo? What are you even thinking? Comicsgate figurehead Richard C. Myers taking DC Marvel writer Mark Waid to court, suing him for tortious interference with contract and defamation. Meyer accuses Waid of ruining his career in comics. A bold move considering the reputation Meyer already created for himself. CPS Lock 3 says some feminists saw a few gamers beat up that feminist in Red Dead Redemption 2, and some wanted to put a flag that tracks those gamers, forcing them to see a 30-second cutscene about how good suffrage was. I wonder if Red Dead Redemption 2 bothered putting in the women opposed to suffrage, which was all the ones who thought that they'd have to sign up for selective service or be firemen. That made me want to buy it, frankly. Go punch a 19th century feminist, or I guess an early 20th century. Gaining notoriety as a conservative reactionary YouTuber, Meyer is best known for provoking harassment campaigns against women, people of color, and trans people in the comic industry. As for defamation, Meyer is well versed in the topic himself. Now, see, notice they don't highlight the defamatory statement that he's the comics publishing equivalent of Milo Yiannopoulos. Zach, answer for your crime, sir. Are you into well-hung black men? Because that would be the comics publishing equivalent of Milo Yiannopoulos. Do you walk around in fancy coats? Do you wear very chic glasses, darling, and talk with your natural English accent? Oh, how beautiful! Is that you, Meyer? Are you the comics publishing equivalent of Milo Yiannopoulos? As for defamation, Meyer is well versed in the topic himself. Oh, it's this kind of article. Having accused several well-known comics creators of pedophilia. Some idiot doesn't know what defamation is. Who? Who doesn't know? Gavia Baker Whitelaw. Notice, racist Gavia Baker Whitelaw only supports white law. That means that Gavia Baker only recognizes Jim Crow era legal precedents. I'm pretty sure that that's what that means. You racist sack of garbage. How dare you? How dare you? That's about as good as your defamation argument. And he described a female Marvel editor as a cum dumpster. Why is cum dumpster like the be-all, end-all to these people? Like, what? I get it. I get it. He called someone a cum dumpster, but like everybody focuses on that insult. What? What about it is so threatening? It's not even that. I mean, it's a mean insult. That's the point of an insult. But it's not. I mean, I could think of a lot worse. The lawsuit relates to Jawbreakers, a comic written by Meyer and drawn by John Malin and Brett R. Smith. It was initially meant to be published by Antarctic Press, a small indie publisher, but they dropped it following backlash from the comics community. In particular, Mark Waid. Several retailers promised to boycott the comic if it came out, while prominent writers and artists criticized the Antarctic Press for giving Comicsgate a platform. Were there other prominent writers doing that? I don't know. They don't highlight Waid's thing. They don't want the judge to read Waid's quotes, I guess. Posting on Facebook to say he'd personally informed Antarctic Press of Meyer's behavior. Why didn't you highlight that one for your jurisdictional argument, Zaid? It's just as good as the other ones. Oh my gosh. He even accused Waid of threatening Antarctic Press and shared a post alleging that Waid got Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski to put forth further pressure on the publisher. There's no evidence that either of these happens. Oh, there's a whole bunch of evidence that Waid threatened Antarctic Press. There's a mountain of evidence from Waid that he threatened Antarctic Press. And Antarctic Press denied both in a now deleted tweet. Why is it deleted? Why was it deleted? Isn't that your big thing now? Why wasn't it deleted? Or why was it deleted? Why did Diversity in Comics delete all the tweets that we'd used to try and get him fired? Why does Diversity in Comics delete all the stuff that we used to try and get him demonetized? Why would people delete stuff that we actively try and cause them financial damage with by taking it out of context or by spamming it to people and bothering them? I don't know. Why would that be? Why would that be? But I don't know. Why would AP delete this? You assert that other people do it to protect themselves and because they're lying and stuff like that. Well, why would AP delete it? Shockingly, nothing else highlighted. All right. Antarctic Press cancels Jawbreakers in wake of controversy. Retailer boycott. Notice that Antarctic Press specifically said the retailer boycott was not the reason that they canceled Jawbreakers, right? Like that they actually did not cancel Jawbreakers during the boycott. Like the retailer boycott happened. They said, nope, this is why we know we're making the right decision. All of these people ignore that. Why? Running defense for Waid. May 13th. This past Friday, Antarctic Press announced it would be publishing Jawbreakers Lost Souls. Comic book written by Richard C. Meyer and drawn by John Malin and Brett R. Smith. Crowdfunded through Meyer's fan base. Comic has currently raised $248,906 on Indiegogo. Following Antarctic's announcement, several comic book shops announced they would not sell Jawbreakers due to Meyer's involvement in what is widely viewed as a harassment campaign against diversity in comics. Okay. In the wake of the announcements, several retailers said they found themselves victims of harassment, prompting Antarctic to announce late Saturday evening that it would in fact not publish Jawbreakers. The retailer boycott and subsequent harassment campaign caused it to reverse its decision, leaving the book without a publisher. Notice this isn't quoted. Zaid, you accused me of being speculative. This article has no quotation other than staunch believer in creators' rights, which is taken from their tweet. They don't quote that this is the reason. This is supposition and conclusory. Justin Carter, what are you doing? This is terrible non-journalism. He simply left a message. No one at the publisher felt bullied into scrapping Jawbreakers. Rather, this was a decision to be made of his own volition. That's, again, ripped from the Antarctic tweet. Terrible. Exhibit 12. This is the last page. What are you people doing to poor Mark Waid? 253-189? Seriously? He said you couldn't read Jawbreakers Lost Souls. He works for Marvel. You have to listen to him. What does that have to do with anything? Oh my God! What's this? What is that? Right there. What is that? What is that, Mark Zaid? Well, I don't have much else to say about that. He means Austin, New York, right? Frickin' idiots. Could backers of Jawbreakers have a class action suit against Waid for holding up our expected delivery date? Thank you for your work, sir. No, probably not. Guys, crowdfunding campaigns are like basically immune to everything. Oh, you can't see? Zoom in? Let me help. Let me help. Hopefully that helps. Let me, There we go, yeah. The Austin, United States. It's like the District of Columbia. It's actually outside of any particular state. That's how could he have possibly known that this is Austin? Okay. Okay. All right, guys, I'm just boomering it up for a second. Fear not. Fear not. I'm just, hold on. Wait, let's just, do this. Give me a second. Okay. Whoa. Hold on. I'm just resizing this on the fly so we can all see what's going on here. Bear with me as I get this in the frame properly. Oh, oh my goodness, what a disaster that is. Well, there's going to be a little overlap here because I still, again, I haven't figured out how to do all this. Let me see if I can just yeah, there's going to be a little overlap. There's nothing I can do. Sorry. Let's go to this Genius's tweets and replies. All right. I'm out of tea and it's a sad day. Okay, we are moving on. We are moving on to Twitter Law Clinic featuring Mark S. Zaid for now. Bad People 1100. Yes, DNC's lawyer will get a chance to file a response to the motion. Absolutely. Okay, so hold on. Let me just get back to my thing here so I know what's going on. Okay, Blue Samurai says, is the judge the target audience to read these pages? Well, the judge is clerk, really. Isn't he supposed to be intelligent enough to notice all the things that you're saying? Yes. Does Zaid's team think they're going to snow the judge with all this jurisdiction irrelevant info? They're trying to poison the well. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to poison the well of the jurisdictional argument by saying bad man is bad and bad man needs to be punished regardless of the jurisdiction. That's what's going on. Blue Samurai continued, this is just insulting to the judge's intelligence. I understand what you said about swaying with character argument. Shouldn't the judge reading this notice AP's admission that Waid shedding light on influenced their decision? Zaid is stupid. Yeah, I think so. To be fair, to be absolutely fair, Zaid did not sign this document. Who I can assume is the assistant attorney at the Texas firm signed the document, not Zaid. Someone earlier asked what the Easter egg was. Ravel versus Libov. Darwin says, cum dumpster is bad because it implies of use by a man because all men are the worst thing ever. Yes, that is true. But let me say what Ravel versus Libov is. It's, yes, Rocket Surgeon has it. It's the Lockerbie. It's a case involving the Lockerbie bombing, which of course Mark Zaid represented many of the families of the U.S. victims of the Lockerbie bombing. So that's the fun little Easter egg. It's like a little back pat to Mark Zaid. But again, Mark Zaid didn't write that document. Someone else wrote it. So don't accuse him of writing it. Don't accuse him of being involved with the case. I mean, he is the lead attorney, according to him. Not according to Betsy Reeves' filings, but according to him, he's the lead attorney. So he should be responsible for everything in it, but don't blame him because he didn't write it. You know, the other attorney signed it. But let's get into something here. Now, he has a lot of stuff. He has a lot of stuff tweeting today. And let me get to some of his more brilliant tweets today. Here we go. This is the thread. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thread. So I tweeted this late last night. Hey, Mark Zaid. Do you find it weird that your client made an offer in the one contact to Texas that he initiated to enter into ongoing business contacts with a Texas company resident? That kind of doesn't jive so well with your argument, counselor. Comicsgate. So then I pointed out his statement about the publisher, which we talked about earlier. So then there's some back and forth. Larry Bernard says something about me being a journalist, acting as a journalist. So here we go. Lol. Nick is a professional journalist is as funny as saying he's a professional attorney. Yeah, that's hilarious, isn't it? A professional journalist, and I represent many, which is why we should all hate you, right? Because professional journalists are hot garbage. Hot garbage. Tries to contact an individual for comment before posting false assumptions. A professional lawyer would know better regardless. Would he, Mark Zaid? Would he? Let me just, let's see. I wonder if I have this in my email on here still, or if I have to... I may have to snip it. Just a second. Go away. Go away. Zaid. Okay. All right. So here we go. Give me just a moment. Give me just a moment. Whoops. Guys, just ignore it. Okay. Now, let me redact the important stuff here. Let me highlight something. Yeah, I know this is excellent TV. Let me highlight some dates. Let me highlight some dates. There we go. Okay. Now I can just bring this over, I believe. Yeah, guys, I have a typical policy of not kicking people. So, you know, I'm not really wanting to do that. Whoops. That's not really in my personal agenda. I mean, I don't want to have to be that guy. So I will ask people to respect the rules of YouTube, the dictator, and yeah, that's how that goes. But they've taken on a policy where they're able to police everything. They can deal with that. All right. Let me bring this up. Can you guys see this? I might have to zoom in or something. You guys probably can't read this, can you? Hold on just a second. I know this is not like the most fun thing. I just realized I can zoom in. All right. Here we go. I didn't want to do this. I really didn't. But, again, my personal integrity and credibility have been attacked. I'm not going to abide by that and let a salty baby, accuse me of something that I didn't do. Here we go. Let's, all right, I've got it all done here. Sorry for being boomer. Let's review this real quick. Lol, Nick is a professional journalist is as funny as saying he's a professional attorney. A professional journalist tries to contact an individual for comment before posting false assumptions. A professional lawyer would know better regardless. Now, this email from him, as you can see, is 10/14/2018. I hope you can read this okay. It is from, Mark Zaid. Oh, Samurai LeBleu says, thank you. Correction. Zaid's hired lackeys are stupid. This lack of evidence for jurisdiction will run through the shredder mounted above the cum dumpster. I really hope this judge's clerks are in your audience. All right, here we go. Mark Zaid. His response came October 14th, 2018. Now, what is he responding to? On Monday, October 8th. I'll just read the email. This is my email to him on Monday, October 8th. Hey, Mark, I tweeted to you the other day about coming on my YouTube channel for an interview, and you suggested I email. I've been covering the events of Meyer versus Waid since they occurred back in May. I have believed from the onset that there's at least grounds for a good faith case of tortious interference. Anyway, I'd love to have you on my show. We can talk about Meyer v. Waid or anything else. If you want to avoid talking about ongoing litigation, although rumor has it you're no longer representing Waid. Either way, your work against Libya is amazing and I'm sure we could find some good subjects. Please let me know if you're interested and we can work out details. Regards, Nick. P.S. I'm a licensed attorney in Minnesota, but I'm not advising or representing Meyer or anyone else in the comics industry. There you go. I clearly indicated that I was under the impression he was no longer representing Waid. Pretty clear. Had a source on that, by the way. Had a source on that. You're no longer representing Waid. Because I'm not the only person who thought he wasn't representing Waid. And my source will say has some knowledge of that. My source says no longer representing Waid. Refuses to contact. Refuses to send anything back to me until after I post the video. And then after I post the video, he says, not a chance in hell. You're a complete idiot. I don't deal with idiots, counselor. Well, listen to me, fairy boy. Listen to me. I contacted you, offered my opinion, asked for you to come on and explain it. You chose not to respond. You told me to email you, you disingenuous piece of garbage. You told me to do this, and then you didn't respond to me because you're so important, right? Because you're so important, putting Mark Waid's ballsack into your mouth and gargling about, my hatred, the racists, or whatever it is that you do all day, licking the nut sweat off of some other soy-filled sack of trash that you couldn't respond in 6 freaking days. In 6 days. In 6 days you couldn't respond. But the moment I put out a video, which you failed to caption your Pro Hoc Vice appearance, and you failed to file your Pro Hoc Vice appearance with your other documents, and you lied to opposing counsel, you lying sack of shit! Eat a hand grenade, you stupid little man! You think you're cool because you're some Washington, D.C. attorney. I've never heard of you before you represented an unshapen pustule in the comics industry. No one cares who you are outside of the other lawyers gargling on your ballsack. No one cares. Zaid, you have 40,000 Twitter followers and you get less engagement on many of your posts than I do. Because no one cares. You've got a blue check. Good job. You're a lefty on Twitter who's been on NBC. No one cares outside of the Beltway who you are. So you're so important that you didn't respond, and then someone politely pointed out that you must have withdrawn because I didn't assume you would mislead opposing counsel, because that would be a dick move. That might be unethical. That might be something a liar would do to try and gain 3 extra weeks. A liar might do that. Not a good attorney. Not a good, upstanding attorney who represents his clients zealously but fairly. That person might disclose to opposing counsel that they're still on the case and that they're going to be waived in Pro Hoc Vice. And there might have been a separate way to handle it. Like, oh, by the way, counselor, I'm actually still on his Pro Hoc Vice. We didn't caption it because it's not really necessary to do so. I mean, I know everybody else does. I know everybody else in the world does. But, it's not really necessary to do so. Instead, you chose to pick a fight with someone 3,000 miles away who doesn't care if you live or die. What kind of idiot are you? And you lost that fight, you stupid dummy. You lost it because you have a stake in this case, and I'm just some moron out in the middle of Minnesota commenting about legal things for all the other people who didn't spend $200,000 to go to law school. I'm just a guy in his house having a good time and having a drink. That's it. You, on the other hand, represent all sorts of government employees and sue administrations. And here you are, so threatened and so hurt because you are a liar and someone happened to figure it out, and I didn't even call you a liar when I could have. That's how much courtesy I gave you. You stupid pile of garbage. You ridiculous. You discredit to the profession. I can't say anything more than that. You discredit to the profession. You make the scumbag lawyers look worse. Because all you had to do was say, oh, by the way, I'm still on. You got your facts wrong. You may want to correct that, which I did. And I took the blame for your misdeeds. But now you call me a liar and you say I didn't contact you? I did 6 days ahead of time. You liar. Our credibility, our licenses rely on the truth. You didn't think I would disprove this? You liar? You unethical pile of trash? You want to call my ethics into question? You want to say I shouldn't have a license? I've put up with a lot. I roll with punches. I don't care. You're a nobody to me. You're a single, ridiculous, 55-year-old man who can't get a woman to say yes. I got it. You're nothing. You're nothing to me. I don't care about you. But you chose this. This was your dumb choice. And I told you in the next email that you severely miscalculated. You chose this. I was never going to bring up this email because it wasn't necessary. Because I took the blame. I took the blame. I said, I didn't consider that you'd still be on. I took the blame because you chose not to do it. And your counsel that you hired chose not to do it. And that second counsel that you don't like to talk about, the one in Dallas that you also hired first, that you also didn't let represent that you were still on the case, the one you also didn't tell opposing counsel that you were on there, the one that no one else knows about, that counsel that you hired in Dallas and then had them pretend to be new lawyers too, that counsel, I didn't mention that either. And guess what? I knew it all when I made the video. You liar! You lying sack of trash! Bite me. CPS Lock 3 says you sound like a more bad A Wonka when he calls a little child out for stealing fizzy lifting drinks and bumping into ceilings. Thorn Tizzle says, in after rage hives. So in summary, in case you missed that, there was second counsel hired between hiring this counsel. There was a second attorney in Dallas, a law firm in Dallas. I won't disclose the name of that law firm, but I actually have it. I have the name of that law firm because I knew about it when it happened. But I didn't say anything about it. And I know that Mark Zaid and that other law firm didn't disclose to opposing counsel that Mark Zaid was still on board. And I know that neither did Betsy Reeves. Now, I don't know whose decision that was. I don't know if that was Mark Zaid's decision. I don't know if it was Betsy Reeves' decision. I don't know if it was the Dallas attorney's decision. I don't know. I don't really care. I was willing to take the blame. That's my integrity versus yours. That's integrity. I was willing to take the blame for your lack of disclosure as my lack of knowledge. But if you come out here and you tell me I'm lying about contacting you when my email that you responded to, you dumb idiot, that I didn't contact you and ask you about your representation, you try and come out here and say that I didn't do that, you're calling my integrity into question. I don't lie to people. I will get things wrong, but I do not lie on this channel. I do not lie in my profession, and I try really hard to not lie to anybody in my personal life because it works better. So you impugn my integrity, I will prove you wrong. You idiot. As if I didn't save the email. You idiot. Talking to me about speculation? and accusations, I bit my tongue to let you off the hook. But yeah, talk to me again, Zaid, about how I didn't contact you days before that video came out. For the record, I believe that video came out on October 13th. Or it came out on October 14th. I don't remember which one. Probably recorded it in the early morning hours of October 14th, if I had to guess. Emailed on October 8th. That was before the filing. Zaid. Jeff Myers says, Counselor Rekieta, you're my hero, which says a lot. I'm an Alabama boy. We've been programmed to call Alexander Shinara. Google him. Meme time. Will do. Akasit says, back for more. Waiting for you to go all the way and yell, I am the law, the next time Zaid accuses you of lying. Welcome back, Akasit. Guys, I like to rant and have fun. But there are times where it goes a little beyond. Because what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It's pretty disgusting, if you ask me. Pretty disgusting. First of all, his entire engagement in this case as a lawyer engaged in representation may be a violation of Rule 3.6, I think, of the DC and Texas Ethics Code. I think it's 3.6. It's 3.5 or 3.6, and that's about public representation during a trial. He's treading into it. He's got a huge social media platform. He's trying to influence the funding. He's treading into that rule. Everybody who's asked me if Zaid is violating ethics, every single person, I've said, you know what? I don't think we should be involved in that. Zaid, I don't think we should be involved in that. I think you're treading some weird ethics rules, buddy. I really do. I really do. I hope you don't have to look back on this case in the mirror someday. I know you can't grow like a stubbly beard because of all the tofu flavored edamame you've been eating in your life. I know that your beard doesn't come in. I get it. So I know you'll never look at like a stubbly washed up reflection of yourself in a mirror, but I really hope that someday you don't have to look back at this as like a bad set of decisions, but it really, really is. I mean, what are you doing? You could just ignore us. You can just ignore us. We're all trolls to you, right? You can just ignore it. And if you can't, you need to reevaluate your representation because it's embarrassing for you. I don't think you missed. I don't think you're getting this. I think this train has just driven past you at 10,000 miles an hour. It's embarrassing for you to act this way and literally no one else involved. Only you. Because you're the one who looks dumb. Super Iron Bob says, thank you for being a living example of a man of integrity. I try, man. I try. Sketch Therapy says, can you stay passionate and stay healthy? Want you to live long. Yeah, I'm good, buddy. I am a pinnacle of health, basically, I guess. I don't know. I'm in good health. I'm in good health. But, okay. Next. Now, there are more emails in that exchange, which I will not disclose at this time. But we did have a back and forth. I've mentioned the fact that I have had email exchanges with Mark Zaid before. But I am not going to read them or disclose them at this time. But I just wanted to point out that I certainly contacted him for comments before running with the story. And it was an assumption based on some pretty good evidence about your lack of representation. Let's not forget that. My assumption was sourced very well. and considered your lack of representation. But because I didn't want to impugn your integrity, I didn't bring it up. Think about that, Mr. Zaid, because I know you're going to see this at some point. Think about that. That I didn't want to impugn your integrity, so I chose not to run the full story that I knew about you not representing yourself, or you not disclosing your representation to opposing counsel. Blue Samurai says, a little extra for the integrity rant. You're good with logic versus fallacies. Please use the money for something so to have fun with the kids. Maybe buy cake mix and frost it with them. Integrity matters. If a man's word is worthless, so is he. Yo to sketch therapy. Hey, thanks. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. All right. What else does he say here? Back to the Zaid Twitter line. Thank you guys for sticking with me through that rant. I've been wanting to get that off my chest all day because you guys know this, right? Like not to be like, oh, hey, you know, this is where I am. This is what I've had to deal with, my struggle, right? Not my struggle like EVS's villain. But I'm just a guy out here saying a thing, and having a huge DC attorney like who's on news stations all the time come out and publicly challenge my credibility, call me an idiot, question my knowledge of the law. Like, you know, he has a Wikipedia page, right? All of the anti-Comicsgate people know his name and have read his little wiki article. He's the Lockerbie guy. He sues the government. He has connections all over Washington. Having a guy like that criticize me has impact to my theoretical career. You guys know this. You deal with this either as creators or as people who support creators who have dealt with this as well. This is how they operate. It's how they work. No more. You don't get to. Because our ability to speak isn't beholden to you, you little rat-faced weasel. All right. Next. Okay. Professional journalist. I'm not a professional journalist. I don't even know what that means. And neither does America, by the way. Neither does America. Because journalism is just reporting factual things on a situation. Like just trying to tell a story about something in the public interest or what we believe to be in the public interest. Am I a professional journalist? I get paid sort of by you guys to provide some sort of information about legal issues. If that makes me a professional journalist, great. I don't claim to be anything other than a guy who makes videos to make people smile and to hopefully increase the legal knowledge a little bit for people who watch. That's it. That's it. Oh, I'm also a practicing attorney. There's that whole thing. But that's separate from this. That just helps me inform some of this stuff. Professional journalists do not do what he does. I represent tons of them and have for years. I know the difference. They don't guess, nor do professional lawyers. Yet you've guessed quite a bit in this case, Zaid. You talk quite a bit about the motives of people. You talk about them being from their mom's basements all the time when you have no information to make that claim. You talk about people being likened to the MAGA bomber, right? Like that Comicsgate people would be sending bombs to other people, which hasn't actually happened. If I want to go ahead and point that out, you do a lot of speculation here. So here we go. Nick speculated as to my withdrawal. Yes, I tried to figure out a couple reasons why you might have withdrawn from representation. Because again, you didn't even tell the opposing party that you were still representing, and neither did your Texas counsel, either of them. Even firing. Yeah, you might have been fired from the case for being too expensive. Absolutely. There's all sorts of scenarios I was trying to explore. Because he doesn't understand the process. No, I understand pro hoc vice. Remember, you didn't caption your your Texas council didn't caption your name in as pending pro hoc vice, and they didn't file a motion for pro hoc vice on the same day that they filed the request for the extension, even though they could have. They just didn't do it. So I do understand the process. It's pretty clear in the rules. You pay your fee, you file your motion document, and the judge rules on it. It's pretty basic. But I had information otherwise. And that's your fault. Mark Zaid. Well, good thing you're not my client then. So this is a response to Larry Bernard talking about how, he wouldn't really like how having Mark Zaid as an attorney. Good thing you're not my client then. Who's feuding? Gets in feuds with people on Twitter about my case. Who's feuding? I'm just pointing out inaccurate facts and identifying those who are biased for the public to see. You're literally biased. It's your ethical responsibility to be biased in this case. So pointing out other people's bias is a little silly. Most of the anti-Waid tweets aren't worth my time, but candidly, sometimes I get bored. Oh, and you're all easy to taunt. Yes, Mark Zaid. The group of people who spends a bunch of time supporting people and talking on Twitter, they're easy to taunt. Not the Washington, D.C. attorney who's busy suing the CIA, who has to go in and comment on comic books. That guy's not easy to taunt. It's everybody else who's, yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, so bored. You're getting dunked on in the chat. Oh, it's great. Absolutely dunked on. Let's see. Like, again, recent CIA Freedom of Information response. Like, this guy he's got important things to do. I want nothing more than for him to do it. For him to drop in. Like, I get that he wants to represent his buddy Waid. Fine. But to drop into the Twitter bants about it? Whew. Richard Corwin says, I live 2 miles outside the Beltway, Nick. Do you want me to pay him a visit to give him a sack check? No, absolutely not. I appreciate the thought. I know it's a joke. I got the smiley face, but no, I don't want anybody at all to contact Mark Zaid. I don't want anything to happen to this guy. Like, no. Even though someone on his Facebook page offered to take care of it for me, and referencing me, right? Even though that happened, I don't want anything to do with Mark Zaid. I want him to just keep prosecuting the case in this way or defending the case in this way because it's ridiculous and it's funny. Akasit says, throwback to the time Pro Hoc Vice was pronounced Pro Hoc Vice. Pro Hoc Vice, yeah. P.S. Edamame is the best thing to have alongside a bottle of Japanese Hibiki whiskey. Smother that suntory. No. Some gyoza. You got to have a nice pork gyoza. Little bit of soy-free soy sauce, because soy sauce, not even once. No, but... Oh, wait, and actually, I think you might not like the pork gyoza. So nice vegetable gyoza with various cabbages, some bok choy, something like that would be great. And preferably some minced jalapeno to go along with the garlic and the soy sauce. Okay, next. What do we got? Oh, this is interesting. Lucas D says, what does Mark Zaid think of Renfamous doxing this woman, then behaves as if she did nothing wrong? Renfamous is a very vocal supporter of Mark Waid. Will they both condemn her unethical behavior or defend her? Yeah, good question, Mark Zaid. Considering you like and retweet and comment with Renfamous in your little circle jerk, quite a bit. She's married. She won't sleep with you either. Just so you know. Well, I don't think so. I would assume not. But I know nothing about it. I'm sure you can all debate and discuss. No, you're not going to address that, are you? Because your client is actually calling a less real version of that wrong. And that puts you in a real moral quandary, right? Right? You shouldn't be dealing with this, and you know, maybe that's not the right place to be. But you don't want to say that, of course. I understand. Let's see what else we got. Bunch of anti-Trump retweets because that's where he lives. Basketball. Boring. Okay, let's see. Anything demonstrating the hatred espoused by Comicsgate and its leaders is still helpful. There's something to be said as to who one associates with as friends. By all means, keep me in the loop about information such as this. Thanks. Okay, so, look at this. He's going straight to the reputable source of SJW Spider-Man. The man who I can only assume has a head injury and needs to be protected at all times by the state for being an absolute dunce. He's going right to there. Here is Ethan Van Sciver on his live stream using transphobic slurs as John Malin and Abacus Mike laugh along. Comicsgate is a hate group. Tagging Mark Zaid Esquire. Given that this isn't directly involving Meyer, I don't think this is relevant to the case. I could be wrong. No, you're not wrong. Of course it's not relevant to the case. Of course not. You can't impute the thoughts of others on Meyer. Triple Herbal said, interested in UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, full-time position available in MING. MING. Is that the Minnesota National Guard? Michigan National Guard? No, I thought about doing UCMJ, thought about doing JAG, but the problem with JAG is they move you around, and I've got 5 kids, and I don't need that in my life anymore. But thanks, buddy. Let's see. Here we go. This is my favorite drama today. So Mark Waid went on The Nerdist. The Nerdist is a YouTube channel, a very popular YouTube channel. That has 2.5 million subscribers. Okay? Massively popular. In the middle of the day, they bring in comics legend Mark Waid to talk to The Nerdist with 2.5 million subscribers. They had 300 viewers live, and about 90 to 95% of them were Comicsgate people. It's an embarrassing appearance on The Nerdist. For reference, we have 860 people watching now. The stream has been pushing close to 1,000. It's the middle of the night, and I have 13,000, just under 13,200 subscribers. I'm just saying, you've got an image problem here. But here it is. Here's the please clap from Mark Zaid, the lowest energy cuck in whatever room he walks into, unless Jeb Bush is there in the flesh. My client Mark Waid's recent interview about comics on Nerdist. Note all the sacred hatred from Comicsgate supporters. Apparently, Mark has hit a raw nerve. Yeah, he attacked someone's money. The only nerve that matters is when you attack someone's money. You attack their ability to feed their family. And I know he doesn't know anything about that because he doesn't have a family. He's just alone. Or probably his roommates or whatever in Santa Monica. But the rest of us have to feed families. So when you attack our money, yeah, it strikes a nerve. When you strike that nerve hard enough, we fight back. Of course. Going after people's jobs, you scum of the earth. Because they said something mean about you, say something mean back. You pathetic pansies. I encourage those who despise bigotry. You literally are endorsing bigotry. You bigot. Mark Waid's a bigot. He doesn't tolerate the opinions of others, so he has to call up and interfere with a contract. He's a literal bigot. He's throwing people out of the industry by his own words. He's a bigot. He's a bigot, and so are you. So if you despise bigotry, be opposed to Marky Mark and the Fairy Bunch. Intolerance to post favorable comments. Here's the joke, you idiot. By the time you posted that, they had already disabled comments. That's how sad your representation is. Please clap. Please clap. No one's clapping, Zaid. Everybody wants to know why your client's a scumbag. Everybody wants to know that one thing. Why did you think this was okay? In what world did you think it was okay to use your industry influence to pressure a minority business owner to drop a contract for the biggest book they've had in 2 decades? In what world did you think that was a good plan? Why? That's all anyone wants to know, Zaid. Why would your client think this? What insular group has he created? How have they insulated themselves from reality so far to think that it's okay to try and defund someone else and unperson them? That's not civilized society. That's not free speech. I know you claim to be a free speech guy, but it turns out you're just a censorious maggot like the rest of them, licking the state's boots when it suits you, not when the speech is offensive or difficult. Sketch Therapy says, I got a head injury in Army. SJW Spider-Man has no excuse. No, he has no excuse. And buddy, if you got a head injury, I don't mean to imply at all that people with head injuries can't function. I'm implying that SJW Spider-Man's head injury makes him unable to function. Because if you hadn't told me that, I'd have no idea. But with SJW Spider-Man, I suspect it heavily. Landon Mack and James says, everyone go to tweet Dick Masterson is who he's talking about, and ask him if he eats beehole. We have to get a straight answer to this question, my comrades. Also, Nick, what anime is best? Right now, let's go with Gurren Lagann. Okay. Please clap. Post favorable comments. That's sad, Zaid. What? He's got all the support in the industry. Where is everybody commenting without you? Without you. Thumbs up to the Nerdist, 160. Thumbs down to the Nerdist, 955. Whew, not good. Not good. Mark Zaid. Now watch the hatred emerge from Comicsgate supporters in this Twitter thread. Most of them will be anonymous, and many of them will be new accounts or have few followers. Oh, yeah, because having few followers, that undoes or invalidates their opinion, right? I'm sure that's logically sound thinking. Having sued intelligence agencies in foreign terrorist states, these haters don't scare me. I laugh at them. Emoji. Yeah, no one's trying to scare you, Zaid. No one's trying to scare you. We're all laughing at how dumb you look. Constantly. 40,000 followers. Look at your engagement, man. You're talking about people with few followers. These are embarrassing numbers. They're embarrassing numbers, buddy. It's not good. You're not wielding the influence you think. I just can't get over that your names rhyme. You used to flip me out all the time. Oh, God. Let's see. Zaid is that guy in high school who caught the winning touchdown. Except high school was in the last century. Like all linos, they want to storm Normandy so bad, but the best they can do is pwn the noobs? What? Actually, I played varsity football in college too. Alas, no touchdowns as I was injured most of the season, and there was more to pole vault for the track team anyway. True that high school was in the last century though. Yeah, should have kept working out, Zaid. You're looking a little soft, we'll say. Landon Mack and James says, out of over 600 anime I've seen, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is my number 5 in top 10. It's Logon. Oh, sorry, Logon. Gurren Lagann. Not Lagan. Nikki Daddy. Boo Boo Senpai. Triple Herbals. Bro, UCMJ, serve your state, enjoy state benefits. P.S. Your kids get free health care. We'll see. We'll see, buddy. It's not out of the thing, but I'm liking what I'm doing right now. I'm liking. I might even be. I'm close to too old. I can't remember. What's the age requirement on UCMJ? You don't have to super chat. Just tag me at Rekieta Law. I don't remember. I did not call him fat, never cold. I said he was soft. Soft. Keg7 Go. What did I miss? Also, shill your Patreon, you boomer. Yes, I'm really bad at this, but in right below my face here, lawsplaining on Patreon. You can check it out. There are all sorts of cool benefits. Every Wednesday, which would be tomorrow, today, whatever it is, we do a live chat where we just have a free form chat for everybody in the Discord. That's the Discord access is $5 and up. And guys, it's a $5 plus Discord, which means it's not full of random people and the conversation doesn't move too quickly. You can actually follow along and engage with people in all sorts of different ways. And we have a lot of fun in there. And there's perks that go up from that. So check out the Patreon. Even if you don't want to subscribe all the way, you can check out the RSS feed, I think for free on Patreon, or you can go to SoundCloud. And I am bad at it, but I do upload audio of all of these videos to there for all of your audio needs. Let's see. Oh, this is his. He's got this weird spat going with Ethan where if neither of them responds in time, the other is conceding something. And the funny thing is Zaid started that. Zaid's like, you didn't respond fast enough. And then Ethan's like, what are you talking about? And then later, Ethan gave him more time and he didn't respond. And then he freaked out about it because this guy can't deal with bants. He can't deal with jokes. He can't deal with the back and forth. It's like he's very triggered on this. Let's see. Now, this is one more thing. 35. Joshua Gilbert. I'm 36. I turn 37 next month. So I would need, I don't even know if they do the, like a special dispensation, but looks like I might be past it. I apologize. Now, let's do this. Hey, remember those engagement numbers I was talking about? Zaid, how embarrassing it is for your 40,000 followers? This is why it's embarrassing right here. Cause you're getting annihilated by people. I have 1/10 the amount of followers you do, buddy. Your posts should get so much more engagement, but they don't. Because no one cares about you. The only reason any of us do is because it's funny to dunk on you constantly. All right. So here's what I posted last night. And then let's do a legal analysis of this. And then I think we'll wrap it up really soon here because we're pushing 3 hours now. hey, Mark Zaid Esquire. Maybe your dude shouldn't have made statements like this. Kind of sort of looks like he knew AP was in Texas, and he kind of sort of wanted to let him know how to get the hordes of hell off his back. Wink face. Tagged Ethan Van Sciver because I knew he'd be interested. Notice, here in Texas. and I'll read up on this. Hey, what's up, Killer Tacos? Waid says, this is from before I read this is why it's funny. So Nick, I'm curious, where did you get this alleged transcript from? It's not alleged. It's not the alleged transcript. It's the transcript to the video interview that he did at Comicspalooza on May 27th, or 26th or 25th, whichever one it was. Approximately 11 days, 12 days maybe after he made the phone call to Antarctic Press. It's not an alleged transcript. It just is the transcript. And where did I get it? Where did this particular snippet come from? Came from Bounding Into Comics. Came from Bounding Into Comics, which reports on comics issues. However, they just pulled the dialogue from the video that's up on YouTube from Comicspalooza in Texas. And Waid was in Texas. You can actually go to the 2018 Comicspalooza roster and find out the dates that he would be there. The 25th, 26th, and 27th. As confirmed by the interview where he said, here in Texas. Here. I'm here in Texas with you guys. Now let's see what he says here in Texas about. There was a publisher here in Texas. What publisher? Antarctic Press. The one that you didn't know was in Texas, right? You liar. That was going to publish their comic. There was a huge amount of hatred toward that publisher at the moment. Yeah. And don't forget their response. This is how we know we're doing the right thing. Most people in comics, most fans of comics were looking at this as, what are you doing? These are indefensible human beings. They harass women. They harass minorities. They harass LGBTQ people. They're full of hate. What are you doing? My feeling is, let the baby have his bottle. Oh yeah, you're so good at this, right? You're so good at letting other people do their thing. I don't care who publishes a comic unless it's Antarctic Press and Zach Meyer's comic or Richard Meyer's comic. I don't care whether you publish his comic or not. I don't care. Why would you be saying this 11 days later? Is it because you realize real quickly how dumb you were? But I knew the publisher. Didn't know he was in Texas, but I knew him. I knew the guy. Didn't know anything about his business, but I knew the guy. And I don't think he was aware why all of a sudden there was a gigantic groundswell of hate towards him. So I said, before we burn his place to the ground, because you're not a harassment campaign, right? Let me call him and find out what's going. I know the guy and want to make sure he knows why the hordes of hell are descending upon him. Let me just tell you why you're getting all this hate, and let me just help you know how to stop it. I got a real easy answer for you. This is real easy. Look, I'm not suggesting you do this. I would never suggest that you do this, but look, man, you're getting a lot of hate. A lot of people hate you. Real easy way out of that, by the way. Just maybe don't do that book. Just maybe don't do that. It's a real easy way out. I know you're suffering right now. I know you're standing by your principles, but if you just don't do that book, hey, listen here, buddy. I know you wanna do this book. I know you got it. I know you got these principles. I know you got people you wanna make happy. But you got the angry hordes against you. Let me tell you what I can do. I can do this for you. I'll tell you how to get them off your back. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anna Ing says, would love to see more of your commentary on Judge Brown and others like that. Enjoying your segment of Russell Greer. Thank you for making time pass at work. Oh yeah, there's lots more of that stuff coming too. I mean, this guy lays out his own intimidation in the most obvious terms. Look, I can make it go away like that. Just play ball. Oh, and I'll give you a publishing deal too. So, Nick, I'm curious. Where did you get this alleged transcript from? Are you sure that the answer to the question Waid was asked is fully set forth in the snippet you posted? Inquiring minds want to know, counselor. Do they? Maybe you should have inquired that before you filed your motion, in which your client lied and said he never discussed this situation or Meyer under oath. You dumb moron. You had him sign a document under oath controverting the actual facts that can be verified by a video that is public and everyone already knew about. You had your client lie to the forum. You better correct it. You have an ethical obligation to correct it. It's a rule, so you better do it before Meyer's attorneys do. You idiot. You are required to correct the fact that your client lied under oath. And you know it. And you know it. But I hope Meyer's attorneys do it for you. Man, do I hope they do it for you. So then you can find out what Texas justice is all about. You had your client lie under oath, you dummy. Why would you do that? Especially when it can be verified by a 10-second search on YouTube. Oh, by the way, that appearance at a comic convention is in the course of business. Your client also lied about his contacts to the forum. You liar. You ridiculous liar. There's a line, Zaid. Zealous advocacy, lying. You better find that line. I know it's blurry. But man, do I hope Meyer's lawyers get to it before you do, you dumb sack of garbage. What are you thinking? Landonime says, if you love anime, follow Landonime/YouTube. I do anime analysis and pure fun. This is Landon. Love you, Nick Senpai. Autism on. Keep eating Mrs. Rackets. Yes, Mrs. Rackets needs to keep eating. Triple Herb says, go to bed, Nick. PT at 6:30. Oh, 6:30. No, thank you. You are dissuading me really quickly. So I gave him some suggestions. Go watch the video and bill your client for your own research, because I'm for making money. You're welcome. But I do want to cut. I'll take a 10% cut of your hourly rate for the speech. Super chat me, homie. Still waiting on that super chat, buddy. And then this guy, this rando nobody decides to try and dunk on me. Again, I guess that sounds like a really good deal, actually. Maybe with some of that money, you could afford to move out of that converted tractor shed and open up a real practice somewhere other than Squint's Dog Poop, Minnesota. Onward and upwards. No, I quite like where I am. And Mountain Dew flavored nightmare. Not that we're laying them on the table and measuring them, buddy, but I'll put my net worth up against yours any day, you idiot. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Diz says, Rekieta Law, I'm contacting Daniel Byrne first thing in the morning regarding this. Actually going to send an email now and call in the morning. I don't know who you are, Diz. I'm not advocating that anybody involve themselves in this thing that doesn't have a connection to the case. I don't advocate that at all. There are lawyers that take care of this and they will handle it how they want. But I'm not in control of anybody. I'm not advocating for that. If you have some connection to the case, maybe that's your prerogative. I'm not advocating for or against. So I assume that your boy Zach and Daniel Byrne have knowledge of this stuff, and are, you know, are well aware of the situation. What's funny is I don't have the same confidence in Zaid, which is embarrassing for him. But all right, guys. All right, guys. I think we're good. I think that's good for tonight. 3 hours. We got some big stuff coming. More fun stuff is coming. I'll be watching for any new filings. You've now seen all of the evidence. If you haven't seen it before, we went through all pages of the document. And if you piece together this video, you can either piece it together with my rant video, which I did, which is another 3 hours. It was a live stream. Or I did do a condensed version talking about the specific legal arguments. It's still 43 minutes. I wanted it to be like 20, but there's just a lot there to go through. It's a very measured analysis of what's going on. I released that video early yesterday morning on the 6th. So if you haven't watched it, go check that out. Go check that out if you want to know what legally is going on here. But interestingly, none of the evidence is jurisdictionally based. It's all just puffery. Landon James says, does Zaid, I think he means Zaid, eat mealy anal hole? I don't know. I don't know what his sexual activities are at all. If there is any. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Of course, as always, just keep watching, learning, make the decisions for yourself from the people involved, support creators that you like. I really, I'm hoping to have some people on very soon to discuss some of the other issues going on within Comicsgate and the factionalization that is a risk that I've been kind of privately talking about for a while. I think Comicsgate is coming to a very important crossroads. And listen, guys, it's not up to the creators. It's up to you guys to tell the creators what you want and to do that in a positive way that fosters the community. And I'm hoping to get some people to talk about that. Other than that, there's always something to cover. There's always something to cover. I should have a stream again tomorrow night. Come back and check it out if you so desire. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about yet, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll always be kept up to date. Or, of course, if you join the Patreon, you will know what's going on in there as well. And you'll have access to talk to me at any time of the day, and I answer as I can, which I try to do quite frequently. So, thanks, guys. I'm going to blank out the screen. And when I'm sure that it's all captured, we'll close it down. One last thing. Sketch Therapy says, I think you missed my last super chat. Did I? Did I? Sketch Therapy. The last super chat I see from you, buddy, was I got a head injury in the Army. SJW Spider-Man has no excuse. And I did talk about that a little bit. So if there was something else, it didn't come through. But no, what I said about the head injury was, if you didn't tell me you had a head injury, I wouldn't know it. With SJW Superman or Spider-Man, I actually suspect it actively just based on reading his ridiculous rantings on Twitter. So thanks all. We'll talk to you later. Peace.